What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Good to have you here. Facebook was being Facebook. You know how they are. Ridiculous. What is going on, everybody? Oh, someone's upset. Upset. I already got an FU dude from... Oh, I don't know. It's kind of gross because she looks like she's 12. And that always means that it's a guy. Oh, this guy's weird. Lonnie Mall. God, I hope you're watching my show, Lonnie. Dude, get this guy. It's kind of weird. Lonnie is a adult male. And he's got a picture of his 12-year-old daughter on his page, which, you know, I guess that's okay. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. And, hold on. Time got away from me. Sorry about that. I'm gonna forward this because this is just. Does this seem normal? This guy goes, "Fuck you, dude," because I had the post about oh gosh, sorry, I'm distracted. What's her face? Why can't I remember her name? Oh, this story is horrible. Can't even remember this person's name. Come on, the one accused Brett Kavanaugh. What was her name? Oh yeah, Christine Blasey Ford. like that's a mouthful. This one, I put up this meme. Christine Blasey Ford recalls Kamala Harris working at McDonald's. It was sometime around the 1980s and somewhere around California. It's priceless. It's doing great. It's an amazing meme. Hilarious meme. It's a fantastic meme. Looks like I'm stalling for Wimkin because they're down for a few, so I need to stall. Okay, holding show. Let me know when you are up. All right, so we'll just wing this. So the Christine Blasey Ford meme is not going well based upon this guy named Lonnie. And Lonnie comes out and goes, F this. F this. He's really upset. And I went to his page and he's got like 12 likes, and this is his picture. Kind of weird. Just saying. And the other one's not much better. Gosh darn it. It's one of those nights. The other one's not much better, just to be honest with you. So this guy's a weirdo with a beardo. Just thinking. So that guy is very upset at the Christine Blasey Ford. Yeah. Thomas goes, looks like he is a member of MAP. You're telling me. That doesn't look like I would never put up a picture like that of myself as my daughter. I mean, if you want to like tag it and say, oh, that's my kid or something, weird. I don't know. But using that as your profile picture, yeah, you're a pedo. I'm just saying. I know Wimkin's down. We're waiting. We're going to hold on. And we'll probably run through the promo in about 2 minutes. And then I'll just extend the show because I want to be with y'all tonight. Just want to be with y'all. We got a lot to talk about. We always have a lot to talk about. So let's share it out. Let's get it out there. We'll get Wimkin up here in a few. I'm going to reset the clock for 2 minutes. And then that should be enough. And we'll run promo. Let me see what I've got here from Jason. Okay. Will do. I didn't want you going live, then us going down. Should be 10 to 15 minutes doing a backup for tonight's infrastructure upgrade. Okay, cool. Let me know. I will Stalinsky. All right, there we go. Matt's daughter is much prettier. I don't even think it's about that. I just think it's really weird that your daughter is making a duck face to herself and kissing, and you decide to go ahead and make it your profile picture. If you guys go to his page, it's a little weird. I'll let you know. Just a little strange. All right, so trying to think how I want to do Wimkin. How do I want to do that? No, Wimkin's going to be 10 or 15 minutes because Jason's rerunning the server. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and roll the show, and then I'll bring Wimkin in. I'll hold the page, and I'll bring him in when we go live. That's the best way to do it. All right, folks, we'll see you in about 40 seconds. What are we talking about? Talking about the election, obviously. Elon Musk, Joe Biden, and others are calling for his arrest. And some other stuff, folks, all coming to you tonight. $200 goal is on for tonight. I want to say thank you so much for hitting it. That was 16 nights in a row that we have hit our donation goal. Thank you so much. If y'all have the ability, can help out, that's wonderful. We appreciate it. Don't do it when it hurts. Do it till it feels good. Put yourself in the right situation. Get your Christmas done. Get your vacation taken care of. Give to your local vets. Give to hurricane victims, and then see what you can do. We'll see you in about 3 minutes. Step to a Wimkin. What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books. Thanks so much.
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast, at the show, and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Adjusting transmitter output. This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at the DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome. Wimkin, we are doing some maintenance over there so we can have a secure, beautiful, huge, bigly server. And Jason's doing the work on it right now. He's going to let me know when we're back up. So just a little bit of a hiatus. I'll probably slow roll the show a little bit, add 15 minutes onto the back end. And why do we do that? Because it's the right thing to do. I hope everyone's doing well. Did you have a chance to see the new video today? I hope you did. I try to tag people, but it's really hard because Facebook does not show that to my my fans anymore, and unfortunately, that sucks. But our long form videos, we're still doing 2 or 3 a week. This one was pretty good, I thought, and you should give it a watch if you have not. It's a kind of just a recap of 2020, COVID, and everything else. And thank you, Bobby, for your donation. We greatly appreciate it. And since we do this every night, we'll go ahead and jump into that real quick. Here is a scroll of people who have donated over the last couple of nights. We can't thank you enough. It means the world. And without you, we would not stay on as a podcast. And the reason why is because Facebook has defunded us. And you have, for the last 6 months, donated and helped out the show. And because of that, we are continuing because of your support. So thank you so much to the people. Now, there's some people who have donated. There's some people who haven't. This isn't a guilt trip. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. And I don't want anyone feeling bad about that or guilty about that. This show is free and it's for you. And this team, people pick up and help out wherever they can. So once again, if you haven't had a chance, share and like and subscribe. That's free. That's something you can do right now on Twitter, on Rumble, on Wimkin when we get there, Facebook, YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that follow, hit that subscribe so you can see us weeknights at 7 o'clock. I'm running solo tonight. Olivia is out doing some shopping with E. Hayden has tech week at school, so they are setting up ready for their play on Thursday. And it's going to be a busy week. So thank you. Welcome. And that scroll is done. So I will go ahead and put up our goal. We're already, it's amazing. We get almost halfway to the goal in the commercials in the beginning intro. So I want to thank the people who have already donated tonight. 62.79 out of our goal of 200. As I'm waiting for communication from Jason to get on Wimkin, I just thought we would have a brief conversation. If you have not had a chance to go over to Facebook or YouTube or wherever and watch today's video, do me a favor, go do that. I have a feeling that you will appreciate it. It's a pretty good video. It kind of recaps why it's important to vote for Donald Trump. And I know all of you are already, thank you, Frank, we appreciate you, already going to vote for Trump, but it doesn't mean that we can't take a look at it and help other people understand why we're doing something and the reasoning. I think it's fairly based, it's fairly simple, and it kind of breaks down Trump did 3 things better than, thank you, Chabelle. Trump did 3 things better than Biden, so therefore I'm going to vote for Kamala, or Biden did better, so I'm going to, these tit for tat things make absolutely no difference when it comes to why you should vote. And what it should be is obviously who actually takes action, who supports the American people, who gets up on stage and addresses things even when it's uncomfortable. I think we know the answer. And we had Joe Biden that was put into place, and he was a complete puppet. He was a shell of a president. And now you have this manufactured Kamala Harris. And I can't begin to tell you, because this is what this is going to be about tonight, is that she is a manufactured candidate. And I don't understand why people can't see it, but I've been looking at a lot of the polls. I've been looking a lot at overall registration for the last month, Democrat versus Republican, and I'm feeling really confident about this election. I did not feel this strong in 2020. 2020 made me nervous. 2016, I didn't think he really had a chance to the polls, but there was something that was speaking to me when it came to the shadow vote. Linda, I'm glad you liked the video. That's awesome. It's good to hear. I also like your avatar. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to zoom in. I don't know. I can't really see it very clearly, but anyway. When we take a look at Kamala and we take a look at being a manufactured candidate, what does it mean? Well, the truth is, no matter what, we don't know who she is. I mean, we understand what her policies have been, but I want you to imagine you applied for a job and the CEO hires you and interviews you, and the CEO is like, listen, we are a $25 an hour. You get 3 weeks, 4 weeks of vacation a year. We have the best insurance known to man. We're going to go ahead and give you a 401k that is unrivaled, and it's a 50% match up to $10,000 annually. We're going to extend your education, and you're going to work 40 hours a week. And you're like, well, that sounds good. I mean, like, not only yes, but hell yes, I'll take it. And you go ahead and you sign up for that, and you take the job. And then, the first day there, CEO stops by and says, how are you liking it? And you're like, oh, I'm really excited. I just started. I just got here. And he's like, great. Well, let's sit down, and I'll be back. And I've got some things that my HR department and my marketing manager and my CFO want to talk to you about before you start, and human resources. And I'll come back after lunch and we'll talk. And you're like, yeah, that sounds okay. All right. Woohoo. Day one. Yeah. And you sit down, and the CFO comes in and says, listen, want to say thank you for becoming a part of Harris and Walls. And we're excited to have you as a partner. We just want to let you know, though, as the chief financial officer, we told you that it was going to be $25 an hour. And just wanted to let you know that it's actually going to be $17 an hour. And you're kind of like, oh no. And he's like, I understand this is just temporary, but this is the way it has to be. But remember the benefits and the vacation and all these other wonderful things you have, your education, and you're like, you know what? I understand. Let's do the 17, and thanks so much. And we'll get through it. Hey, no problem. Thank you. And the CFO leaves. And then the HR person comes in. They're like, listen, we want to let you know that because of the cutbacks that we've had with the CFO, you were going to get 4 vacation weeks a year, but now it's going to be 2. And you're like, okay. And HR leaves. And then the marketing director comes in and goes, listen, the marketing budget is obviously tight because you just heard from HR and you heard from the CFO, and they cut our marketing budget. And we have to find that money from somewhere. So we've stopped all overtime. And unfortunately, yes, you were going to make 25 plus overtime, but now you're not going to get your guaranteed overtime, and you're going to have to survive on the 17. And you're like, son of a bitch. Okay, fine. And then, the next person comes in, and eventually everything that you were promised and everything that you thought you were going to get, you're not getting any of it. And there's another side to this story, is you forgot the before. And because you didn't necessarily have this CEO before, you didn't know that this CEO 5 years ago was completely against overtime, was completely against extended vacation time, was completely against educating his employees. And you didn't know that. But that is where that person was. And that CEO adamantly, fervently, with every company he's ever worked for, has always been anti a certain amount of benefits for their employees. So when you got there, you walked into this and you're like, well, this person's telling me everything I want to hear. But then when you show up for the day of the job, everything's being pulled out from underneath you. This is a euphemism. This is a comparative contrast between what Kamala Harris is doing. And yes, she's the CEO. The American voter is the employee. This is what's happening. She has broadcasted that she is socialist progressive. She's broadcasted she wants guns. She believes in expanding the minimum wage. She believes in unfettered access to illegal immigration. She doesn't give a crap about the border. She doesn't care about fentanyl. Look what they're doing to black neighborhoods. They don't care about trafficking of children, because look what they're doing in children in schools with educating them on chemically castrating children and talking about transitioning their genitalia into something else at young ages. And this is ridiculous. No, they're not performing sexual transitional surgeries at high school and middle school, but what they're not doing is telling you. If your daughter goes for an abortion, you're not going to be notified. If they change their pronouns or say they're gay or homosexual, you're not going to be notified. So this whole thing about Kamala Harris is, she's told us who she is. And everyone knows who she is. And the moment that she gets into office, it's all going to change. The moment that she says, "Hey, I've got into office, I'm elected," the rug is going to be pulled out from underneath everybody. And it's going to be just like Joe Biden. Woe is me. And remember what the first year of Joe Biden's presidency was like. I mean, it was an absolute kerfuckle. You got people jumping out of freaking C-17s, leaving Afghanistan, jumping to their death because they think that these are the wings of God. They have no idea about wind speed. They have no idea about oxygen deprivation. They don't have any idea about what it was going to be like going up at that altitude and getting an embolism. They're not even going to make it 100 feet off the freaking runway because they're going to get blown off the side of the wheel well when the wheel goes up. And even before that. So you had people clinging, trying to escape, NGOs, people who had worked for Americans going, "This is my ride to get out of here." These are people in Nepal and India and Afghanistan and Tajikistan who got on trains and the very same way would climb to the top of those trains and take it 300 miles to the ongoing town. They didn't know that the C-17, that they would die on it. These people have never been on a plane. These people have goats, for God's sakes. They don't have milk. They don't have ice. They don't have a refrigerator. These people are living in an age that is completely different than us. And Joe Biden just wantingly pulls out as Afghans are just jumping to their death. You don't remember that? What about COVID? What about 1 mask, 2 masks, 3 masks, 4? What's better than 4 masks? More, more, more. I mean, it's a Dr. Seuss episode. How many vaccines were we supposed to get? You need a vaccine. You need a booster. You need a booster for your booster. You need the Boostiest super booster. My eye is literally falling out and I have an elbow growing out of my ass. Well, we need to get you another booster for that. We need an updated booster, like we're some sort of computer system that needs a manual update. What did you not get right in the first booster? What did you not get right in the vaccine that you need to give me another one? What's missing? Oh, we need to re-up it because it only lasts a month? Come on. 300, we covered this last night, 300 some odd thousand kids missing and trafficked. What are we doing about that? Who's responsible? All right, folks, we are not going to go live on Wimkin tonight. I apologize. If that changes, I'm going to leave the window up. Jason's working on it, but they're hitting a snag. So if you know of our Wimkin people, send them a quick message and get them to come on over. We would appreciate it. But sorry, we cannot go live on Wimkin tonight. And that's okay. I think we're going to be fine. But everybody let those people know if you would not mind. My point about this is you know what you're going to get. She's a manufactured candidate. The media is completely behind her. She has been presented to us like some great hope for America when she wasn't good enough. If she was the best candidate, why did they push Joe Biden forward? I want you to think about the odds. I want you to think about if you have Joe Biden, who comes from Rehoboth or Scranton. We don't know where he's from. He's from everywhere, it looks like. And then you've got Kamala Harris, who I don't even know where, California or Hawaii or wherever the hell, Jamaica, whatever the hell she's from. One's black, kinda. Jamaican and Indian. All of her photos, all of the birthdays, all of the family photos, it's all Indian culture. Her college transcripts, when she applies for jobs, it's Indian. Most recently, it's become black, but whatever. I mean, you can identify as a truck if you want to nowadays, or a rainbow spotted unicorn, so whatever. And you've got Joe Biden, who essentially was in college when God was a corporal. You've got Kamala Harris, who is a prosecutor. Their relationship is nil. Probably met a few times in the Senate, I would assume. Maybe met a few times when he was vice president and she was Senate. Definitely had a chance to meet during the 2020 election when he DEI hired her. All viable things. And then you've got the fact that he comes from an upper elite class in Delaware and she comes from an elite class in California. They don't have a lot in common. They didn't cross the stream, so to speak. They didn't play sabers at the urinal. Okay? So what are the odds that the Democratic Party picked the two people, the only two people, put them on the same ticket in 2020, knowing that they are only the very best that the Democratic Party has to offer, that they are the best choice for America? What are the odds? Can anyone even begin to tell me the odds? 1 in a billion? Well, I don't know. There's 332 million Americans. Now go ahead and play the odds that two of them are going to be connected and be the president and the vice president. Find out the percentage of people, 0.0000000000000012% become president or vice president. Now go ahead and divide that by the amount of people there are. Go ahead and put it on a timeline. Put all the variables inside. And what are the chances that two people are the only two people who can run this country? I'm telling you right now, it's zero. And if that's the case, then one of them, if not both of them, are both the wrong choice for this country. Because there are plenty of other people out there who could do the job. So what they're telling you is the Democratic Party knew that Joe Biden was going to lose. And why did they go with Kamala, who was extremely unpopular, whose poll numbers were horrendous? Why would they? Well, because Kamala didn't leave him any choice. Kamala took it. And you got to give her credit. I mean, she was more effective than Hillary Clinton, if you think about it. Hillary Clinton didn't get that far. But you've got a situation where they're telling us that she is the best choice for America to go forward. And if that's not true, and it can't be true, we know it can't be true because the odds tell us that it's impossible. Then you have to ask yourself the question, is there another option? And could it be someone outside of the Democratic Party? And the answer is most assuredly it could be. Because you have a person who's already been president. You have a person that we've been running since 2016, and a lot of people has already won twice and is about to win for the third time. It's a lot of people think that. And I have already been very transparent in saying that, do I feel that this was a stolen election? No. Thank you so much, Kimberly. But do I feel that this was an unconstitutional election? You bet your ass. And people are like, what's the difference? Well, the difference is that when you break the law and steal something, there's precedent. Understand, murder wasn't illegal, God's law, but at one point in history, it was okay to go out and just kill somebody. And then someone said, you know what, that's probably not a good idea. We shouldn't do that anymore. Embezzlement at one point wasn't illegal until it wasn't. Jaywalking Wasn't really something that you would have to worry about in the Old West. Excuse me, partner, I need you to get out of the way there. My horse is coming. I'm going to be there in the next 5 minutes. You need to hurry across that road. Okay, so jaywalking wasn't illegal until it wasn't. Until it was. Robbing banks wasn't illegal until it was. So going ahead and using COVID and using emergency powers to usurp the state's constitution with judges isn't illegal. And it still isn't. But we know in order to amend the Constitution of the United States or a state's constitution, the only people who have the ability to do that is based on a 2/3 majority or a 3/4 majority when it comes to amending the Constitution and changing an amendment or changing a law is the state legislature. And nobody had that vote in any state. Judges made that decision. Judges imposed emergency powers with COVID and allowed these states to go ahead and do whatever they wanted without legislation. That is unconstitutional. You also can't solicit ballots from people who are unregistered. Yet we know that the voter registries in a lot of these states expanded and they didn't go ahead and register. What they did is they looked at the people who had moved in the last 6 months to a year from COVID and went ahead and immediately sent them ballots unsolicited. It's illegal. You can't do that. It's called solicitation of a vote. You must register. You must go through the processes. But at this point, it's all semantics, I guess. It doesn't matter. So a lot of people already feel that Donald Trump's won twice and that he's going to win a third time. But what you can't do is sit here and say that the Republican Party is literally just throwing shit at the wall to see if it sticks, because that's not what's happening. They have a candidate that they've been presenting since 2016 and who they continue against all the odds to destroy him, to discredit him, to kill him. You got to ask yourself a question. If you're going to sit here and say that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are ordained from on high, castigated upon us by the Lord, you'd have a hard time selling that. One is that Joe Biden isn't going to win a second term, so they pulled him. And you know that Kamala Harris is struggling like crazy and nobody wants her. But you've got Donald Trump, who has been through $52 million of the Mueller investigation, went through the dirty dossier, the FISA warrants, went through the grab him by the pussy tape, has said more dumb shit than just about any other president in history, and he's bulletproof from it, has been indicted 96 times with 5 charges removed. 97 times with 96 times with 5 charges removed for a total of 91 felonies. So he's been indicted 5 times for 91 felonies. He was hit for the E. Jean Carroll thing, got a $10 million judgment against him in a civil trial, which proves nothing about guilt in any way, shape, or form, because even when that judge came out and said it wasn't a criminal trial, the burden of proof, exculpatory evidence, is completely different in a civil trial than in a criminal trial. There's not even a comparison. He's never been charged with rape. He's never been charged with sexual assault. This was a civil trial. That's it. And then he got nailed for what? For a clerical error that he never saw and never did? For a payment of hush money to Stormy Daniels? Or how about the banking loan in Florida? When you've got a property that's worth what? He said it was worth $500 million? And they're like, no, it can't be. That's only worth $17 million, even though the property is $42.6 million, even though they take $180 million annually in memberships for the golf course. That it's beachfront, beautiful property with his name on it that people want, that houses around him, which are smaller, more dilapidated in stature, older, haven't been renovated, are going for 3 or 4 times more than what they said it was worth. There's no crime. The bank had no problem with the loan. The only people who had a problem with the loan were the people who wanted to go ahead and nail Donald Trump. They changed the New York laws to go ahead and extend something that was past the statute of limitations. They already passed up from the State Department, from the DOJ to Alvin Bragg, already washed over and walked away from any type of prosecution for these events. New York laughed it off and said, what? The assistant prosecutor is on tape saying that this is completely a setup and a sham, and that Bragg and team went ahead and did this even though they waved on it before. Then went ahead and moved them up from misdemeanors to felonies. And now the left are celebrating, oh, he's a convicted felon, because it doesn't matter what you got him for. You could have nailed him for jaywalking. You would have made it a felonious event. This is a fucking sham. It's all been a sham. The guy, literally, they try to bankrupt him with a $500 million bond. Never in history has a bond been this high. Because when you go through due process, there's a consideration of fairness that has to take place. And a $500 million bond is not fair. It's not even remotely scratching the surface of precedent. And yet it still maintains, because New York, they just do this. They're going after Eric Adams, and people are like, Trump, why is Trump defending Eric Adams? Because they're doing the same thing. It's chicken shit stuff. It's airline tickets and stuff. Who gives a shit? Every politician does that. Some of these guys, whether you like it or not, as mayors, you may think $140,000 means you're just richer than shit. Trust me, when you're traveling back and forth, when you've got to hire a security detail, when you have to go ahead and set up these events, there's money that goes out of your pocket. I don't have a problem with a politician taking an airline ticket. I don't have a problem with a politician or a judge going on a junket. You know what? I did it as an executive. I'm not going to sit here and say anything. But for New York to do that when de Blasio was taking commercial money, when de Blasio was taking Pfizer money for pushing the vaccine versus going with Moderna or any of the other vaccines, when these guys are sitting up on the stage and they're pushing burger commercials and giving away free burgers for vaccines, when they're taking money under the table, get that stuff. New York is corrupt, but you go get Eric Adams on some airline tickets. Well, it's amazing. You certainly didn't care about those tickets until he said that he didn't want to be a sanctuary city anymore and questioned the illegal dumping that was happening inside his city. And Democrats wouldn't do anything to give him more money. It's amazing, don't you think? And then you got to take 2 assassination attempts, actually 3. And the third one is not the one with the guy, from my understanding, I heard him on Jason's show on Wimkin, and I got to say, there's a litany of things that guy's going to be held responsible for, but the things that they're saying about him, it doesn't wash. But there was a third assassination attempt. And you guys don't remember the guy that tried to run on stage with a gun in 2020 when he was running for president. So it's not like they haven't done this before. Carrie, I'll be showing that a little later. Biden threatening to lock Trump up. Yep, I'm going to show it to you. But they try to kill him. So you're going to sit here and tell me that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are the two of the only people who can fix and save our country for freedom and democracy. But Donald Trump, who has went through all of that and more, and you look at his policies, and you look at what he did in the Middle East, you look what he did on the home front, you look what he did for energy, you look what he did for the border, you look what he did for every single demographic from jobs. And you look at the wage earning, you look at the GNP, and actually where the GDP and GNP, that they were saying 3.7, 3.8 was impossible to get for overall revenue, yet he did it. Look at gas prices. Look at the Abraham Accords. Look at the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Look at getting rid of the fucking Iran nuclear deal, getting out of the Paris Climate Accords, USMCA and NAFTA. Everything he said, he promised, and he got funding for the wall. They just froze it. He had all the material there. They just wouldn't let it be built. That's not Donald Trump. They just wanted to use that as political assassination attempt, not physical, but overall from his image that he didn't say the one thing he was going to do, which was complete the wall. Well, he got 500 miles of it refabbed and made 72 new miles of the wall. That's better than anything Democrats have done in the last 30 years with the border. This isn't even a choice. You've got a manufactured candidate, somebody who is unpopular, who America doesn't like. And because you were told that Donald Trump is so evil, so horrible, so dangerous. But it's interesting because it's not sticking. Because people remember 16 and 20. They don't blame him for January 6th. Did Donald Trump stoke the fires with talking about a stolen election? Sure. Everyone knows. He absolutely 100% was wrong. The people he listened to and surrounded himself gave him some really shitty information. And still to this day, we have abnormalities. But the way that we can look at this is look at the numbers, look at what the states did, look at the emergency powers, look at what they did with the USPS. They told us what they were going to do. They told us they weren't going to count these votes until after they counted day of votes. They said that a 10% gap wasn't going to hold for Donald Trump as soon as they started counting absentee and mail-in ballots. But the interesting thing is it doesn't matter. It's the optics. Everybody was like, this looks wonky. This looks hinky. Something's rotten in Denmark, including me, which is why I started diving into the numbers and started looking at the judges changing the state's constitutions, which is why I have always espoused the same thing for 4 years. And now other people are starting to do what I said. And when they talk about the election, they're talking about the constitutionality of it. It's funny, for 4 years, I lost followers and people would tell me I was crazy and I was a rhino and I was nuts because I'm giving you facts and I'm giving you numbers and I'm giving you the timeline. And you guys are giving me water pipes and giving me Buenos Aires Nazis living with George Soros and giving me watermarked ballots and 2,000 mules behind a paywall for $29.99. And all of it is bullshit. The Democrats performed one of the most sly, underhanded, and sneaky processes ever in election history. It wasn't gerrymandering. It wasn't ballot stuffing. It wasn't going ahead and intimidating at the polls by putting the Black Panthers in key strategic areas like they've done in the past. It was none of those things. They did the simplest thing that they could do. They leveraged COVID and used judges that were federally assigned that Trump didn't get to assign in deep blue areas to influence and change the results of this election constitutionally void. I'll tell you what, they're not going to have that chance. And if you look at what the numbers are, usually early voting is a great sign and indicator for Democrats. Not this time. Donald Trump, stop talking about this. Remember what I said? I said 18 months ago, Donald Trump needs to stop talking about the stolen fucking election and start talking about getting people to vote early. Get it in their heads. Get ballot harvesting programs in place. Get people encouraged to go early to the polls, look at their state gov website, make sure that their vote was counted. And if it wasn't, then they need to show up to early vote. And then if it wasn't there for early vote, show up day of. But either way, you have to be determined, you have to be passionate, and we need to show up in droves. I'm telling you right now, North Carolina and Michigan are looking very much in favor of Donald Trump. And if that goes the way it is, you know Arizona and Georgia are going to fall. That's 4 swing states. There's only 7. Wisconsin doesn't look very good. She may get Minnesota. Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania doesn't look very good. And if this is the case, and she is going to lose those swing states, this election is going to be over. If you take a look at the voter registry, you take a look at the party changeovers, where you can see net positive Democrats to Republicans who are registering to vote. If you look at the net positive of people who are actually voting early, Republicans aren't winning, but they don't have to win. All they need to do is show 15% more turnout on early voting and mail-in voting, and this election is over. I know a lot of people are nervous right now. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm telling you right now, this looks very good for Donald Trump. And the Democratic Party is already starting to apologize. There are people in Michigan, Wisconsin who are running for state and Senate who are switching their commercials to start saying that they worked with Donald Trump. Do you understand how fucking huge that is? These are people in democratically strong areas who are now placing commercials in their more purple areas, not removing themselves from Trump, but tying themselves to his coattails. These are Democrats. You've got Harris's campaign that took off today. Why? You got 14 days left. What are you doing? She hit the blue wall. She is this deep into the election with 14 days left, and she has to hit the blue wall. Who else had to do that? Does anyone want to tell me? Can anyone put it in chat right now? What other candidate had to hit the blue wall 14 days left in the election as an oh shit moment in recent memory? Tell me who it was. I'll wait. That's right. Hillary. Hillary Clinton, who didn't show up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, got word that she was losing Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and pulled the oh shit handle and went to Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Kamala's doing the same thing. She is spending the rest of the week in the blue wall. She is losing in Pennsylvania. She is losing in Michigan. They believe that Wisconsin is going to go Trump. If that happens, this race is over. It's over. There is no path. If he takes Wisconsin, if he takes Michigan, if he takes Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania, I'll tell you what, Virginia might be a sleeper. I don't think there's really a big chance for Virginia, but I'm telling you what, this could be huge. Because the early indications are that people are showing up in droves, and it's not necessarily all Democrats. This does not help Democrats. Republicans are voting early. Republicans know what's happening. They're not stupid. They listen. Fox has been saying this for 4 years. I've been saying this for 4 years. Crowder's been saying it for 4 years. Charlie Kirk's been saying it for 4 years. Shapiro's been saying it for 4 years. Megyn Kelly's been saying it for 4 years. Damani Felder's been saying it for 4 years. Get out, vote early, vote often. And the early indications are showing 2.5 million people over the last 4 years have switched from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. And early voting counts are showing a huge increase in Republicans showing up to vote today. That is a very good sign. Do I think Muslim families are going to vote for Kamala? I think Muslims do not embrace the LGBTQ community overall, and they certainly do not embrace transgenders. This looks very bad for Kamala, but also what she did with the Jews. She wouldn't pick a side. We all know she doesn't give a shit about the Jews. Everyone knows she doesn't give a shit about the Jews. So why didn't she just come out and say it? Because she's already lost the Jewish vote. Because she tried to play both sides. You can't do this with religion. That's not the way it works. Jews and Muslims, Arabs, these people believe in their religion is a part of their identity and their makeup of who they are. And if you decide to go ahead and support Muslims, the Jews are going to question you. And if you support the Jews, the Muslims are going to question you. If you're wishy-washy on both, they're both going to castigate you out. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. But this also plays in Minnesota. Do I believe she'll win Minnesota? I don't think so. Not with Walz. I think that was strategic. But if we look at this and we really dive into this, I am not going to use 270 to win because they are jackasses. This is, and I love them. I've used them every election. But see, this is what CNN has, and it's complete dog shit. This is complete dog shit. Let me fix my camera so you guys can see. This is CNN doing what CNN always does. They've got her 226 to 219. What a bunch of shit. First of all, Georgia. Oh, I am not putting in a subscription. Fuck you. Okay, you know what? CNN, no wonder why nobody visits your shit. Let's try. There we go. NBC News has it 225 to 219. They've got Georgia as a toss-up, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada as toss-ups. But they have the balls to give her Minnesota. That's fine. You can give her Minnesota. But the way the numbers are showing right now, because this is what it looks like, the red wall is in place. And folks, let me tell you something. Historically, when this does this, this does that. Once again, historically, when this does this, that does that. Now, abortion is a huge topic in Virginia. They have been hitting this for 4 years. But Youngkin won against amazing odds. The problem is Youngkin has not come out and stumped for Trump. And I'm telling you why he's not. And honestly, it's smart. You don't need Virginia to win. And if he goes out and stumps for Trump and Trump doesn't win, you're really going to hurt his ass in the 2028 election, which it's his to take. Youngkin is the de facto nominee for 2028. Or DeSantis as the main ticket and possibly Youngkin as VP so they can have a long-term ticket. It depends. 4 years is a long time, but Youngkin is a very promising candidate. So even if this takes place, you're still talking about this is what it looks like right now. 312 to 225. That is an electoral ass kicking. That is an electoral ass kicking. Even if we feel a little bit trepidatious and say Wisconsin, it's still 302 to 235. Okay, fine. So she gets Michigan too. All right. Now it's 287 to 250. Okay, well, maybe she takes North Carolina. Okay. Now you got a problem. Because if you give her this, now it's 271 to 266, and Trump needs a vote. Trump needs a vote. But if it's that, it's over. It's over. The chances of her taking Michigan right now are slim to none. Right now, it's 302 to 235. And I honestly think Wisconsin's still in play. But this would be completely normal for a swing state vote. Most swing states, it's not a winner take all, but it's like 65 to 70% goes to the winning candidate. So in this case, she very well might take Wisconsin too. And that would fall in line. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swing states, she takes 2 and Trump takes 5. That falls exactly in line with most elections, except for 1984 with Mondale and Reagan, which was just a complete fucking quagmire. This is where we are right now, but CNN doesn't want to admit it. Now, I want to show you something. Do you remember what I said about Nikki Haley? Let me show you why this is so important. Let's go ahead and say that she takes Virginia and she takes Michigan, and the blue wall minus Pennsylvania stays firm. Okay? Let's just assume that takes place. And let's assume that she takes Pennsylvania. Okay? Boom. 269 to 268. Watch this shit. Watch this. Remember what I said 4 years ago. Remember what I said 18 months ago. And remember what I said 9 months ago about who should have been his VP candidate. Because if you look at New Hampshire, Nikki Haley won New Hampshire. Donald Trump wins the election. Because that's probable. Right there. That map is really fucking probable. Minus New Hampshire. Because here's the problem. This is Nebraska's one singular vote, which will most assuredly go to Kamala, and there's the win. Donald Trump loses by 2. I told you. I told you a long fucking time ago that Nikki Haley was a fan, because this is the way it would be with Nikki Haley, just to let you know. That's the map. 329 to 209. Guaranteed. She would take Virginia because of her stance on abortion. They would vote for Trump because we're a Second Amendment state. But abortion plays more important than Second Amendment in Virginia, unfortunately. She would have won New Hampshire because Agnew would have been all over supporting her, as he was. She would have won New Hampshire. This, what's up, Mr. Richardson? Good to see you, buddy. This is a very big possibility. I told you that one vote in Nebraska was huge. Huge. Right there. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania all go to her. He takes the lower South. This one vote in Nebraska is going to put her at 270. If this happens, I get the biggest apology. Like, donations better be huge that night. Because the reason I said Nikki Haley is not because I love Nikki Haley, is because I know she would break the Northeast. She delivers New Hampshire, and she gives you Virginia. And the way that he was running and these polls were, how tight he was in the swing states 6 months ago, it was a lock. It guarantees him the election. But just remember, it's that one damn vote in Nebraska. 269 to 268. And they always split the vote. It's possible the whole state goes, but it's doubtful. Omaha is pretty liberal. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I woe is me. I wish. I wish I may. I wish I might. Grant me this wish I wish tonight, whatever the fuck it is. I'm not going to do that. And I will say I told you so. I will, because I deserve to. Because I told you 4 years ago, Nikki Haley was a great choice. I don't care what MAGA thinks, the alt-right extreme, because they've already abandoned him. The Nick Fuentes and the Groyper boys and all of those guys, they hate Jews. They're not going to support Donald Trump. Those are the people we were upset about losing with Nikki Haley. Who cares about those fucking people? I certainly don't. You shouldn't either. Okay, hold on. All right, looks like we're going to try to get online. Somebody want to go check Wimkin for me? We're going to try to get on and get him a second half of this. Uh-oh. No. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this window back up. We are down for maintenance. All right. Well, we'll see if we can get it back up. So that's something we need to think about. Now, hopefully New Hampshire won't matter. Things go the way they're looking. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, election's over. Election's over. This looks 2016 Hillary Clinton. This looks very 2016 Hillary Clinton. There you go. Let's hope that that is what happens. Because, you know, we don't know. It could be something different. We're going to find out, aren't we? We got 14 days. 14 days to flatten the turd, folks. Looks like Wimkin's still down. That's fine. So let's get into some news. Christine, thank you for the 5-star review on the shirts. We appreciate that. We also received a donation from Christine, which I will put in. Folks, if you have not had a chance, we are a 100% donation-based site. Minus our monthly revenue that we get from Wimkin. And they help us out to make sure we can stay afloat. Thank you, Christine. Say Kristen? Sorry. That's ADHD. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why. The E is silent for me, and I just go Kristen. It's Christine. I know Christine. Christine's always on the show. She's freaking amazing. But I screw up the name. I don't know why. So you just got. It's not personal. It really isn't. But I want to say thank you for the donations. They make the show move forward. Facebook has demonetized us horribly, and without you, we would not hit it. And we are about 85 some odd dollars shy of our goal. So if you have the ability to help out, we would appreciate it. We've got a whole bunch of people on, even down on Wimkin tonight. Give you a quick heads up of what the numbers look like. And then we can get into this. Looks like we've got about 50 on X, which is great to see. 23 on YouTube. Looks to be about almost 83, 84 on Facebook. So good to see so many people on. We appreciate it. Let's get to this. The media is calling for Donald Trump's arrest. And the interesting thing is the reason why is, you know, you don't give a shit about Zuckerberg when he puts in when he puts in, you know, $500 million in campaign advertising in swing states. But Elon Musk does it, and oh my God, the whole world has to end. Here you go.
Musk is pledging millions of dollars to swing state voters who sign his pro-Trump Political Action Committee's petition. We look into how this might be a violation of election law.
I wonder, are there laws out there? Do laws need to change?
Is paying someone or surprising someone with $1 million for signing a political petition legal?
Does this cross the line?
Could this be a violation of federal election law?
Do you think it might not be legal, yes or no?
Federal law says you can't do that.
Democrats are saying that might be a campaign violation.
This to me seems a clear violation of the federal statute.
Well, it's definitely close to the line, Wolf, and in my view, it's probably over the line.
It doesn't just cross the line, but it very likely blows past the line.
There's a very strong possibility it's illegal.
I'm now reading from the law. Whoever knowingly or willfully pays or offers to pay or accepts payment either for registration to vote or for voting shall be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. So what does that say to you about what Musk is doing?
A criminal.
Absolutely nothing, because it's not for a vote and it's not to register. It's for a political action committee. And if you can donate, and donating money is free speech, the political action committee has the ability to fundraise and has the ability to sign up people in any way it deems necessary.
Criminal violation under federal law, punishable by up to 5 years in jail.
Wow, up to 5 years in jail. That does sound serious.
These people are fucking jokes. You know, it's amazing that campaign finance is only brought up when it's Republicans. Do you remember that shot job that they did on Dinesh D'Souza? And Obama was such a thin-skinned prick that he went after Dinesh because he like doubled the campaign contribution. This is, speaking of Obama, here is a video that was just released. Barack Obama doesn't understand how we got so toxic and divided and so bitter. Folks, phone lines are open. I apologize. I didn't open them tonight. I don't know why, but I have just opened up Skype. So if you want to call in, there you go. This is not a violation. And if they want to start going ahead and diving into political action committee ethos, we would love to have that happen. But companies have free speech. And it's because of Citizens United that we do. So this is qualified and covered under Citizens United. Democrats hate it. They don't want it, but it assigns that corporations have free speech as an individual. And they have a right to go ahead and use money as speech. And it's the same thing Zuckerberg did. He donated $500 million because individuals, I think it's like 10,000 max as couples. These guys donate millions upon millions. George Soros does it. Bloomberg does it. Zuckerberg does it. Dempsey did it. And the reason why is they use PACs. And political action committees don't have the same restrictions that individual donations do. And because they have the right to speech, Elon Musk has the right to go ahead and do this. That's the way it is. End of story. So that's why they're like, should. It sounds, probably, maybe, it might be, could be. If my grandmother had balls, she would have my grandfather. She'd be my grandfather. If. Probably. So whenever you hear these people say probably, could be, should be, might be, they're full of shit be every step of the way. But Barack Obama wants to know, man, when did all this division come around our country? What happened? We used to be a strong people. Oh, what happened in my country that I left you? When did we become so divisive? Barack Obama wants to know. Here he is.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just
fucking baffling.
So divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
Oh, yeah, so do I. I wonder why, though. I mean, it's shocking. I don't know. Why are we so divisive? It's a good question. One that will be living in infamy forever, echoing through eternity as we wonder why we're divisive in this country. It all started with your ass. Because the thing is that civil rights took place, jackhole. Okay? Racial division kind of cooled down after Reagan, and it got better. It got better for everybody. And we kind of moved on. But you had to come in and flex the arms of, oh, you know what? It ain't cool that Whitey shows all the power and all the freaking and downtrodden against blacks for 400 years. I agree with you. I think African Americans have been treated like absolute dog shit. Worse than natives, worse than Jews, worse than Christians, worse than Mexicans, worse than women. African Americans have been treated like shit for 400 years. I get it. I'm with you, brother. But that's why we had civil rights, and that's why we had that movement. That's why we had Martin Luther King long before you got here. And you came in and you did exactly what you said you weren't going to do. Hope and change turned into racial division, and cops are freaking horrible, and Muslims are okay and not extremists as they're blowing up our soldiers. Dude, listen, I'll give Obama a lot of credit. His economy wasn't bad. The guy started more proxy wars than any other president in U.S. history. He killed more American civilians than any other president in history. But overall, the economy wasn't bad. The rest was a soup sandwich. On the world stage, the apology tour, oh my God. So much division. So much division. You're struggling to remember why. I don't understand what happened. What happened to all these people? Why are they all hating on each other?
And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just...
Oh, yeah, like that. We all got friends like that.
It's like, you know, it's all a circus out there. I get that. I don't understand how we got so toxic and just...
Shocking.
So divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members.
You are so full of shit. You absolutely know what you did. You came in, you played the prototypical black guy, and you went ahead and said, this feels good. We're going to make Whitey pay for it a little bit. And you did. You hugged black people different than you hugged white people. You appointed people of color over white people. You skipped people in line who were generals. Oh, it's okay. I get it. If I was black and I got that, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to give my people some love. But what you didn't need to do is rub it in faces. You didn't need to blame cops. You didn't need to go ahead and suck up to Muslims. You didn't need to go ahead and pretend that you cared about the LGBTQ community when it was Joe Biden who let it fucking slip in a fundraiser and it went national, and then all of a sudden you believe in gay marriage even though you don't. Come on, bud. You know exactly where it started. You know exactly where it started when you wanted to grab guns, and every chance you got, you went ahead and blamed white people for what was going on in the country when people in Chicago were murdering each other. And the last time I checked, they weren't white. When people in Detroit and Baltimore, when people in Miami, Florida, when people in Los Angeles, when people in Dallas were killing each other, it wasn't white people. And you didn't do anything about it. And you went ahead and you talked about gun deaths as if it was mass shootings that were causing the problem. And although they are serious, the gang violence, the drive-bys, the drug violence, they make up 93% of the homicides inside this country. But you pretended it was white people. You pretended it was people in Bible areas, in red areas, in flyover states, who had their gun and their rifle in the rack of their pickup trucks, and you blamed us. You blamed cops. We know where it came from. And you know what? I'm not blaming you. You should go in there and you should have had an all-black cabinet. Every freaking judge you put on should have been a person of color. You just should have said, fuck you. 400 years of payback, and it's a bitch. I don't care. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. I really am. Because we did it for freaking how many hundreds of years? I'm cool with that. What I'm not cool is you rubbing it in people's faces just like white people did and spitting on people and telling them it's raining. You know damn well where it came from, Obama. Give me a break. You most divisive piece of shit we've ever had since... I don't even know if I can pick another candidate. Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was also a Democrat, was pretty fucking divisive. Said one thing out of his mouth towards minorities, civil rights, pushed that, but then also called them N-words, called Jews the K word. Yeah, he's pretty divisive too. It's amazing he was a Democrat. The most divisive presidents we've had throughout history were Democrats. Because you guys are always espousing the racist shit, and you're always maligning with racism, and you're always trying to keep African Americans chained to your beliefs and your power structure. We've proven this 1,000 times over. We don't need to continue to do this. You know where it came from. You bred it. You created it. Own it. He's trying to get into heaven now, or paradise with Allah. You know you're getting older, and your conscience is getting to you. I don't know where all this came from. It's a complete shock to me. Oh, what the hell happened? Ronald Reagan's up there going, it's because you're a complete asshole. Bill Clinton's like, he's right. You are a fucking asshole. I'm not going to lie. I look at Obama and I just go, man, this guy is a world-class prick. I swear to God. I promise you. Richard Nixon thinks he's a cock. Give me a break. Woodrow Wilson. Oh yeah, that's enough. Well, I went to LBJ because he was most recent. Woodrow, yeah. Yeah. Obama. I wonder where the division came from. Well, come on, bro. What do you mean? I don't know where that came from. Shit. Wasn't me. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, man? Hello, Whitey. Hello, Cracker. Nice to meet you. Best skit ever, Key and Peele. Showing how Obama shakes hands of African Americans and Muslims, and when he sees white people, sees a baby, oh, give me some of that sugar. Let me come here. I love that little baby. There you go, yeah. White woman comes up. Hey, little thing. Okay, now.
Thank you, Charity. Nancy and I are still looking for the other half of my head.
I got Bill Clinton down too. I just looked under my desk and I pet Monty's head and I said, baby, that felt good. Here's a chocolate chip cookie. Obama, give me a break. Oh man, what the hell? What happened? I don't understand. This division's bigger than Mike's dick. Okay, that's a joke. I don't think Michelle Obama's a man. I think people are just doing what they always do. Folks, we are 100% donation. We're, even with impersonations, we're sitting 30 minutes away and we're halfway there. Need some help on the goal tonight. We're sitting at 114 out of 200. We are 16 nights in a row of hitting goal. We got to hit it. My nose, where's my brush? I feel like I'm Zelensky. I do not do enough cocaine. What? I've got allergies. I'm fine. Give me your money. Kind of feel like Zelensky. It's not the inside, it's the outside. It's around right here. Oh, God, I hate it. It itches like a mother. You should take that on the road, Matthew. Whatever. No. The time has passed. But yeah, I've been doing impersonations since I was like 6. I did Ronald Reagan. That was my first impersonation in the back of the car. Down the Boston Harbor. I went to the pickle, the deli. I don't have a drip. I have an itch. Like, I don't get stuffy. I just itch like a mofo. Folks, once again, thedumshow.com/donate. I'm getting distracted. If you have not had a chance, hey, you've been watching the show for a year, you've been watching it 4 years, you've been watching it for a couple days, and you're like, wow, I really like this show. This guy does a good job. So does Olivia. So does Leeroy. So does Amy. So do all the mods. Maybe we can make sure that they continue to be free and they continue to show, especially during this time when Facebook is trying to cripple them and shut them down. This is the way to do it. Thedumshow.com/donate. You can do PayPal. You can do Venmo, or you can mail in. It's up to you. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. You have a talent for impersonating those guys. It's not just those guys, Donnie. It's not just presidents. Oh, Kraka, Dabaka. Christian Slater, Jack Nicholson. You can do Scooby-Doo, Yoda, Christian Slater, Harry Carey, John Wayne. There's like 50 or 60 different impersonations I can do. I just don't do them as much as I used to. But I do, and then every like nationality on the planet, Irish, Jew, doesn't, guy from the Bronx. Something I've always been able to do. I don't know why. All right. Joe Biden calls a whole bunch of people on. Do you know how good it feels to have the live audience grow like this? This is outstanding. Thanks so much, everybody. Just to let you know, we're sitting at 169. We got 61 on Twitter, 24 on YouTube. We're sitting at a solid 85 on Facebook. It's good to know. It's good to see so many people on. Here is Joe Biden. Oh, boy. Cuffs is a great movie. Sitting around, smoking a joint, getting stupid. Ectoplasmic cum stains all over the wall. I don't know what people's problems are, but I don't know. It just makes me excited. All right, let's watch Joe Biden. Happy Harry Hard-On. That was one of my favorite movies when I was growing up, is Pump Up the Volume. And the fact that I'm not a radio DJ, but the fact that I can do a radio show is pretty cool. It's not on the radio. Do you think they took away Biden's meds? I don't know. He's weird. He's just weird. You got Jack, I eat breakfast 300,000 yards from 400,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me. So I don't think you can come down here in that faggoty white uniform and make me nervous. All right, here we go. Joe Biden.
This is the guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him.
What?
I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
Well, you've certainly tried.
Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering. Suffering leads to the dark side. Yes, it does.
Two guys going dark Jedi. Like,
with Sith, always two there are.
And he we should start calling him Darth Biden. He's a Sith. Doesn't he look like the Emperor?
Emperor Palpatine is evil. He is. I sense a terrible dark side in him. I do.
You guy's nuts. Want to lock him up? Well, at least, Donald Trump was joking when he said it, I thought. But, that was pretty clear. Joe Biden's pissed. I can't wait for the tell-all book. It'll be Joe Biden. Why Kamala's a bitch. He's a Sith, man. His lightsaber's definitely red. I'm just saying. What do you want me to say? Like we didn't know this, that Joe Biden wants to lock up Donald Trump. Oh, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. This is so shocking. This is as shocking as Obama not understanding why there's division in America. It just escapes me. Completely, a Rubik's wrapped in an enigma, scrambled in a riddle. In a Sudoku puzzle. It's shocking. Joe Biden wants to lock up Donald Trump? You're got to be kidding me. After the DOJ and the FBI and prosecution and 96 indictments and a $500,000 bail? Shit, I had no idea. Shocking. Riveting. You betcha. Come on. Was anyone shocked? So he's finally admitting the truth. I mean, his brain is gone. It's basically tapioca pudding. The great thing is that this guy can watch the same episode of Matlock for the rest of his life and he'll be happy. Wheel of Fortune. All right, folks, it's a noun. I love New York. Yes, you got it. Congratulations. Oh, what a great tomorrow night. All right, folks, it's a noun. I love New York. That's correct. You got it. Holy shit, Joe Biden. This guy's toast. He's toast. And the thing is that this is what I want you to look at Obama. I want you to look at Obama. I want you to look at Biden. I want you to look at Hillary Clinton. Hey, Mr. Honeycutt. What's going on, Jeff? It was really awesome to have Colonel Honeycutt on, man. I really appreciate it. I need to get in touch with you, man. Send me a message go to thedumshow.com and just send me a quick email. It's matt@thedumshow.com. Just send me a quick email because I want to call you. I want to coordinate with you the money that we raised. So we raised $1,000 and we want to make sure that we're giving it to the right place. And I just want to talk to you about it before we sign off. I was going to hook up Team Rubicon, but I want to make sure they were up in your area. I'm waiting for the CEO to call me. Take a look at Biden. Take a look at Kamala. Take a look at Hillary. Take a look. Dude, these people are not aging well. Look at Donald Trump. He looks the same. Look at Donald Trump. He hasn't changed a day. Joe Biden, I mean, looks like a lawn ornament you would put on for Halloween. Obama, he's looking pretty rough. He's looking like Uncle Ben with the white hair before Uncle Ben was completely removed from rice. It's insane. And this is what hate and lies and division do to you. It sucks your soul. It bleeds you dry. It takes a part of you and destroys it. Hey, who's home? All right, awesome. It's what happens. Fun little video for you guys. Watch this. You've got signs all over here. Globalist for Harris, MS-13 for Harris, shoplifting for Harris, Zelensky for Harris. You got Tampon Tim, pedophiles for Harris. There's a cat over a barbecue right here. You got Kamala with a skeleton of cat. Censorship for Harris. Satan for Harris. War Machine for Harris. Tren de Arruga. Tren de Arruga for Harris. Is that a Colombian gang? Is that a Colombian gang? Tren de Arruga? Sounds like something that in my head. Is it trafficking ring? Yeah, it's a Venezuela criminal gang. Yeah, had a feeling. Yeah. Oh, we got donations. No, we don't. Damn it. I don't know, folks. Looks like the 16-day record's going to be broken. We've got 27 minutes, and we are 85 shy. Baby killers for Harris. P. Diddy for Harris. Satan for Harris. Hi.
Hi.
Why do you want my phone?
Kitchen.
Go take your phone. Vote like you don't care what happens to our country, Harrison Walls. Oh my God, there's more. Trump Vance. Make America Great Again, Cat. Oh, this house is fantastic. I would kill to have this neighbor. This is fantastic. Pretty amazing. No, it's not that. It's a shitty video. It's not my glasses. I don't need my glasses. It's a shitty video. The only reason I need I usually wear my glasses when I have multiple people on because I have to change cameras and flip screens and stuff, and it's really small. But I don't need my glasses on right now. Piss off, Thomas. I thought that was pretty funny. 22 a day. A lot of you know I am a big supporter of 22 a day. I donate to 22 a day. We've worked with them as a 501c3 through Flags of Valor. Worked with them for a very short period of time through Valor Home. Delta Airlines removed a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, her T-shirt, claiming that it was threatening. And I was going to wear my 22 a day shirt. We have one on the site. But all it says is do not give in to the war within, end veteran suicide. And the flight attendant yelled at her, "I don't care about your service," over her shirt, which had the message supporting veterans. Catherine Banks, who served in the Marine Corps for 22 years, was removed. Do not give in to the war is what it said. Male flight attendant removed her from the flight with the veteran recalling, "He said that the shirt you're wearing is threatening." After trying to explain the shirt, it says, "I don't care about your service. The only way you're going to get back on that plane is if you take it off right now." And she was forced to take it off. Pretty shitty. Catherine's story is all over the internet. It's gone viral. And I don't know if there's a video. I'm assuming there is because I see her picture. So I'm just going to dig a little deeper here and see if I can find a video. Would love to get her on the show. Yeah, I don't think there's a video of this. No, I don't think so. Unless someone else has seen it and you want to link it to me. I mean, either way, it's absolutely tragic. What a stupid, stupid thing. People don't understand that the veteran community has its own language. And, you know, of course, Delta probably has a statement. And I don't condemn companies that put out statements like this because I hate to say it, they can't understand everything that happens and foresee shitty employees, shitty management, and poor decisions. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but they better look into it and they better do something about it. And obviously, if you have somebody wearing a Red Friday or a 22 a day or Stop Soldier Suicide, you're going to put them in a situation where they're probably suffering their own recount and memory of certain incidents, and that would be a very triggering event for a vet to have to strip down. I mean, talk about just removing any sense of pride and respect and making them, you know, defrock or derobe something that is really altruistic. And 22 a day is absolutely an amazing organization. You know, I did the push-ups along with everybody and did the video for it and donated and wear the shirt and have the wristbands because I completely support what they stand for. And, you know, some stupid triggered liberal, I guarantee that's what it's going to be, has an issue with this because they don't understand it. And this is the problem with society, is if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. Is this Mel?
Yep, it is.
What's up?
The only thing I had with that article, because I had read it all earlier, and she said she had to turn her back and whatever and then put a sweatshirt on. My problem is, like, why didn't you just put the sweatshirt on over top of the shirt that you already had? So that's the only little glitch in that whole story. The story to me is bullshit, whatever, because that should have never happened in the first place. But it was just that one little, I don't know, like to say that she, you know, to make it even more, I don't know, sensational, I guess.
Well,
let's
look into it. To Valhalla, Don't give in shirt 22. I want to see what it says on the back because some of those things can be offensive. Here's the shirt. This is on the Till Valhalla project.
Yep.
It's loading. And it simply says, don't give in to the war within and veteran suicide.
Exactly.
Says, there's nothing on the back.
Nope.
And an American flag with Till Valhalla project on the flag itself. Those who know honor. Yep. So there's nothing wrong with a shirt. So you're saying that she had a sweater, and why didn't she just put the sweater on?
Well, and that's the thing. In the article, it said that when the steward, whatever, he, him, she, they, whatever, got her off the plane, in order for her to get back on the plane, she had to put on another whatever. And what she had said in her statement was she had to turn her back because she wasn't wearing a bra and put on a sweatshirt. So and that's my only thing. Like, if this was whatever, why not just throw the sweatshirt on over top of what you already had and be done with it? So that was my only little glitch in that whole story, which I believe is totally 100% true. I just found it odd that if you had a sweatshirt, just throw it on over top, get back on and do whatever, and then sue Delta Airlines down the road.
But why should she have to? I mean, let me ask you a question.
Well, no,
so let's
hold on. She should.
Mel,
No,
let me ask a question.
Yeah.
What if? And thank you for your donation, by the way. And Victoria, thank you for your donation. And Ashley, thank you for your donation. I'm ready to put all these in, and thank you, ladies. So my question, just to get your opinion, if it was, say it was a shirt that was supporting Israel, do you think she should have to put something over it?
No, 100%.
Okay.
All I'm saying is, with this day and age, and knowing, and because I suspect there's PTS involved in all of this, whatever, you have to keep yourself calm, and you have to do, you just shut your eyes, shake your head, and you do things that you don't.
Sure.
You shouldn't have to do, but in this nutso world, and she wants to get home to her sister, which is extremely important, and there is PTS in this, 1000%. This little prick she should take him to court and sue him and the airlines and whatever as an affront to the whatever, but she needed to get on that plane and go. So
I understand. I hear what you're saying.
I would do the same thing. I would just, because you get to the point you can't be confronted, because that will push you over the edge. I know it. I've been there, done it, got the T-shirt. So yeah.
I for one know that, if I would have seen that happen when I was on the plane, I would have. I would have interfered, and I would have first of all asked to see the captain, and I would deboard the plane and get somebody involved. I understand, but my thoughts are, if you know that somebody's wearing a 22-a-day shirt and it's veteran suicide, and you don't know what it's about, and obviously she's distressed and she's upset, wouldn't it have been better just to let it go and not confront her in any way, shape, or form? So I understand your thoughts of, it's kind of like the lady at the diner. If her daughter wasn't in a situation that was absolutely dire and in an emergency and was going to flip that chair over, and I found out that was their first time at the diner. They'd never been there before. If I wouldn't have seen that, I wouldn't have got involved from the chair. So my point is that this was predicated on an action from this flight attendant that caused this entire situation. And I just don't think she should cover herself up when there is nothing wrong with that shirt. I think we're getting to a point where people are playing moral police And what if you find her boobs offensive? There's people with pajamas. There's people with take off their fucking shoes on the plane who aren't kicked off. But this lady wears the veteran-based shirt and she's kicked. I know you understand that. I know you're not advocating for what he did. I agree.
No,
but I don't know if she was in the right place and right mind based upon her suffering from PTS as well. This event could have triggered her, and her decision and coping skills are completely out the window at that point. You know that.
Yeah, and that's my point. But
yeah,
and I can feel like down in my heart, my soul, whatever, because I would have known whatever, just don't bring it, whatever, because I can't go to that extreme. As anybody knows that anybody has PTS, you can't, because the triggers, and it happens so fast, so whatever, and it's not pretty.
No, it's not.
If to me it would have been, I'll put this whatever. I wouldn't have done what she had said. She had gone and turned herself around because she didn't have a bra on and blah whatever. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have just stood there on the plane. Well, one or two things would have happened. I would have just stood there and went, fine, ripped the shirt off, and then put the other one on and said,
right,
bite me, and then sat fucking down. Or I would have gone the other way, melted down, and it would have not been pretty. So it can go one of two ways, and none of them are good. And that's basically my point. And I usually try to do the avoidance part, but as you go through your therapies and your talk sessions and whatever, you get a little bit more emboldened as you go along to get to stand up more for your rights. But that's a really, and as you know, that's a really, really, really fucking long road to hoe. So yeah.
Yeah. Did he specifically say you have to take it off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then she didn't have a choice to put the sweater on. He said you have to remove the shirt. You're not going to be able to get back on the.
Or she take it off, or what? That was the comment. Whatever. She had to take it off, but she took it off and then put the other shirt on top of it. There wouldn't have. To me, that wasn't the issue. I'm sure if she would have just said, "Here, I'm just going to put this on over top," and nobody will know what's underneath. Whatever. It's just another shirt.
Yeah, but she has to wear a sweater. She has to wear a sweater on a plane that's already effing uncomfortable. Yeah, this is just stupid. This should never have. That's the whole thing.
It should have never happened. Never.
That's right. That's
that
what we
flight
just say.
attendant should be raked over the goddamn and gone. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I have no compassion for this little prick. And because he probably wears a dress anyway, so pardon my whatever.
We're gonna find out because the internet's going after him pretty hard. So we'll find out soon enough. Mel, thanks for calling in. I hope you're doing well. Everything good?
I finally 2 days ago got most of my roof put on. So
good.
And that was just before the atmospheric river dumped over 150 millimeters of rain in 2 days in my. On my whatever. So my roof didn't leak, thank God. There's a couple more little things to finish, but it was sealed and it happened 2 hours before the big rain started on Friday. So So it took from July to now to get my roof put on, and I only live in a 1,000 square foot trailer.
It's so expensive. It's so ridiculous. I appreciate everything you do, and thank you for also helping the show. And I know it's tight, and that means the world to me, and we thank you for it. And we hope everything goes well. Let me know how things are going, what's new, and make sure to call in again. Go ahead.
The world needs you, especially with right now and 2 weeks to go. So anything anybody can do to help is,
Yeah, I appreciate
it's all
you.
good.
People always come through.
Love you guys.
And we love you too and appreciate you. Thanks, kiddo. Mello, thank you. One of our favorites. We love her to death. She is amazing. We'll end it on this. I might go a little longer because I said we were running a little bit behind.
Robs and rules.
I want you to listen to this. Maybe you've seen this. Maybe you have not. But it's in regards to democracy in a republic. It is fantastic. Take a listen. No, 150 milliliters.
A constitutional republic, not a democracy. The ideal of a democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty. A democracy always degenerates into dictatorship, which promises government-guaranteed equality and security, but it delivers nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules. America was founded as a constitutional republic to safeguard the liberties of the people against the tyranny of democracy or of one-man dictatorship. In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government. A constitutional republic, not a democracy.
That's a pretty powerful video. I've seen it before. Paul, thank you so much for donating. Thank you, Jeff, for donating. Paul says he loves the show. We appreciate you, Paul. Thank you so much. And Jeff also as well. Appreciate you guys donating and helping the show out. And we have hit goal for I think this is 17. Yes, this is 17. So 17 nights in a row. We appreciate you folks for helping us. And we actually got another one. Got to put that one in. Oh my God, you guys. Oh no. Oh, Angie bought her jacket. Nice. Angie Zirkelback bought her jacket. That's exciting. You're going to love it. That's like, I think it's the 5th Don't Unfriend Me jacket. We're going to have we're going to have to get a bike gang. You know what I mean? Yes, it came through. Yeah, so the Don't Unfriend Me jacket is really popular. We've sold, I didn't think we were going to sell that many, but people, and it's a good price point. That's because it's Columbia and it's a high quality jacket. But I'm really excited that like I said, we need to get a bike gang going. Because people are buying this thing. This is the, Paul, again, thank you. Did that just go through again? Did Olivia just put that in? Olivia, I got it. Don't double them in. I don't know. Maybe she just put that in. Here, I'm trying to find the. So it's all stitched, and I'm pulling up the pictures right now. So we put this thing on here just this week, and people seem to like it. That's pretty cool. So Angie got her jacket. Like I said, we need to create a bike gang. That would be awesome. Here it is. It's all stitched. It's got the Dumb Nation logo on the front, and on the sleeve, it's got the U.S. flag and the Don't Unfriend Me logo, which you've grown accustomed to. And on the back, it's got the original Don't Unfriend Me logo stitched. I mean, it's all stitched. 100%. It's not printed. So high quality Columbia jacket. And these things are nice. They're water resistant, water repellent. They've got zip up pocket for your phone. The cuffs have Velcro, and then the bottom has Velcro to make sure it's watertight. The neck goes all the way up like a turtleneck. They're nice. So Angie, I'm glad you got it. That's cool. I'm just going to open it up for calls and open it up for a little bonus time. Before we go, I want to say thank you for everyone who's donated. It means the world to us. Thank you. Can't thank you enough for your assistance. And you guys constantly helping us. We've got 14 days. This is a huge, monumental election, and it just says so much about where we're going to head as a country. Lady J says, how long till they get shipped out? Lady J, you ordered yours. I'll tell you right now, mine just left. Tom Shin says, hey, Matt, Arizona is red. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you where it's at. So very quickly, usually 5 to 7 days from order, the shirts show up. Let me see. I'll tell you where yours is at. Orders. So you ordered yours on October 18th. Is that right? Lady J, did you order yours already? if you did and you ordered it on the 18th, is what I'm looking at, then it has been picked and they should start printing in the next couple of days. And it's anticipated to arrive between October 23rd and 28th, which is pretty good. So I ordered mine last Friday. No, a little bit longer than that. I think it was Monday. So it's about 7 to 10 days for turnaround, but that's a lot of stitching. And so that's going to be awesome. Yep. So it should be there between the 23rd and the 28th. So it is now the 23rd, hasn't shipped yet. It's been picked. I would anticipate the 27th, 28th that'll be there. So, Jeff, you're good to go. We got the donation. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Phone lines are open. Questions are available. If you guys got them, we're here and willing to chat about anything you want to chat about. I've looked for questions, and I don't think we got any. Trump's just walking off stage at his event. Good. Wonder how that went. Thought a dumb shirt with all the flags of countries of your viewers on the sleeve. I could do that. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. It's the 22nd? Oh. My watch is wrong. It's right up there. You think I'd see it? My watch is wrong. Sorry. 22nd. So there it is. Yeah, but we need to get a motorcycle gang going. Because I'm gonna wear the jacket as soon as I get it. Like, I'm not gonna take the damn thing off at all. I accidentally put in Paul twice. Sorry about that, Paul. Yes. Okay. Other than that, man, that's all I got. We went through it all tonight. Joe Rogan is going on, Trump is going on Joe Rogan's podcast on Friday, for sure. Yep. Can you do a wake but not woke jacket with the dumb logo? Sure. Sure. You got to remind me, Glenn, to do that. I will add more jacket stuff. I mean, they've got some great stuff right now on Printful. Susie says, I'm feeling dizzy. Lay down then. Big election day. If you haven't voted, get to it. Matt, I've heard you say even if Trump wins, they won't ever let him take the oath. What do you mean by that? Well, like, the first step is getting nominated, right? Well, let me ask you a question. Have they demonstrated anything to you that they will not do whatever it takes to ensure that he doesn't get into office again? They've tried legal. They've tried to financially bankrupt him. They've tried assassination of his character. They've tried to destroy his businesses. Remember, they wanted to go ahead and sell Trump Tower and seize his, civilian or civil asset forfeiture. They've tried to do everything. So the problem is I believe is that they will use a Civil War statute with the Insurrection Act to go ahead and try to invoke the 25th Amendment and not allow him to take office. Jamie Raskin said as much the other day. If he wins, they will do whatever they can to ensure that they don't certify this election. And this is going to be the hilarious thing. This is what Democrats do. All you got to do is listen to them, and everything that they say, they do. So as they're talking about Trump stealing democracy, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. So I believe he can win, but I don't believe that he'll take office. I don't think they'll allow it. Like, in my soul, I think they will not certify him. They just don't. They can't afford to. This whole push for the New World Order and, having one global democracy and one monetary system, and this isn't fake. This is what Democrats want. They want globalism. They want America to lead the world. And they believe that we are the best to do it. And they want to bring our form of government to everyone in the world. And they believe with enough money and enough influence and treating everyone equally that they will reach this goal. And if they don't, they bomb them. And look at Libya. So if that happens, do you see an uprising of the people? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But if he wins the election and they don't certify him, I don't think there is anything that should be off the table in response from the American people. Yeah, that's why they're saying there's civil unrest. I mean, we just went over that DOD document Leeroy and I did on Friday. Go watch Friday's live show. It'll blow your mind. That's why they passed this, is to use local law enforcement to leverage the military against its citizens, even though they said Donald Trump saying that this is a bill that they pushed through. Well, what happens if Trump isn't certified? Well, we have a situation. A president will be certified either way based upon the state electors. Now, there are more states in the union, and those states' electors depends upon which states refuse to certify. Most of those swing states, even if all of those swing states choose not to certify, which will not happen. Arizona will certify, Nevada will certify, Georgia will certify, but Pennsylvania could decide not to certify, Wisconsin could decide not to certify, Michigan could decide, and that changes the election. But you have to understand is that at some point the Democrats are going to scream and kick and fight, but like Trump, they will ultimately have to give it up, or there will be civil war. That is definitely what that DOD directive is for. There's no doubt in my mind that's what it's for. It's to quash civil unrest. It's to use the military in case, yes. Why put it through right now? Why? Because they don't want another J6. The government has to maintain control. If the government doesn't maintain control and the people rise up and overtake the government and perform, a revolution of sorts, that's not in the best interest for the government. So they have to work under the guise of legal recourse, which is to have an executive order that states that local governments can maintain order in their states and their cities and municipalities by leveraging the military against its citizens. Because it's illegal for the government to use its military against the citizens. So you write a directive that gives those law enforcement agencies under the guise of the law to enforce the will of the people in power. Come on, this isn't hard. It is unconstitutional. Folks, why do you think this fucking election is so important? But this is where we're at as a country. We have to have this. It's time. It's time. It's time that we expose what the true intention of liberals in the Democratic Party is. And that is to root out all opposition to their goals. 100%. Everything that they say that the Republicans are doing is what they're doing. Donald Trump doesn't want to go after the American people. Donald Trump wants to go after the people who have been going after him, the people who have been going after the parents, going after the students, to protect the schools. He doesn't want to go after his political opponents. He wants to go after the people who are trying to criminally jail him and his family and everyone else. He's got to fix this. Matt, I think if they don't let Trump in, I think there'll be a huge strike and will cost billions a day. I don't think it's going to be a strike. If Trump wins the election after what happened in 2020, and that we have been told 4 years about saving our democracy, and then they circumvent the democratic will of the people like they already did for Joe Biden. They've already done this. Do you guys understand? Joe Biden is the nominee for the Democratic Party. Not one vote was cast for Kamala Harris, and yet he steps down and she automatically gets it? That's not the way this works. Are you fucking kidding me? They've already circumvented our democratic process of the republic for which it stands. What makes you think they're not going to do it again? They held a $50 million freaking Mueller investigation on lies. They created the dirty dossier and the FISA warrants. They collaborated with spies from Russia and England to go ahead and set Donald Trump. They put plants in his campaign. They bugged his office. They wiretapped his office. They served a warrant in full tactical gear. They took his passport. They took his driver's license, for God's sakes. It's the president of the United States, former president of the United States, and they served a no-knock warrant. They warned Joe Biden a week ahead of time. Come on, they've already done this. Why is anyone shocked that they are going to use the military to maintain order? And what will happen is that if Donald Trump is not certified, Joe Biden will step in and announce Kamala Harris as his president, and she will be the interim president until a decision can be made, and she'll declare martial law. Why wouldn't she? What makes you think that that's not what they'll do? Have they given you any reason to think that they wouldn't? I mean, are we all just spitballing here and making up shit because it's a soap opera? Or do you actually believe that the DOJ went after Donald Trump? Do you actually believe that they are circumventing the order of law? That they absolutely 100% will remove him physically, mentally, anatomically, existentially, in any way, shape, or form? What do you think? Maureen says, will the military follow orders? That's what the military does. But like the Civil War, some people in the North defected out and left and went to the South. Some people in the South went to the North. Some people laid down arms and refused and were put into prison because they wouldn't fight. Do I believe that all of the military will stand down? No, I don't. Because they will tell the military that there's an uprising, that these people are trying to overthrow the government, and they have a sworn oath to defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And if the United States government classifies us as the enemy, then they have an obligation to defend the Constitution. Thomas, there would never be civil war if militaries didn't follow the orders of the government. Turkey would be free now, but it's not. What makes you think that there are people in the military who will not execute the order to defend the Constitution of the United States based upon the government's discretion? They did swear an oath to protect the Constitution, and the United States government is saying that we are the enemy, that we are not constitutionally within our rights to demand anything. Have you guys been paying fucking attention? I'm not trying to be a horrible person here and be condescending, but have you even watched what's been going on for 4 years and what I've covered? Why do you think they've been indoctrinating the military? Why do you think they've been lowering the educational standards of the military? Why do you think they've been scrapping the bottom of the barrel? Because unfortunately, stupid people don't ask questions. I'm sorry. Why do you think they've been gone woke and indoctrinated the military? Come on. Some won't. But those people will be arrested and they'll be thrown into Leavenworth. And the ones that do will be used to turn against the people because they just provided a document to show you that. Everyone's had a chance to see it. I covered the whole document. It specifically states that local law enforcement can request military action to use lethal force against its citizens if it's deemed appropriate. Does that not scare you? Did you think they would be going door to door and asking you how many people live with you? Did you think they'd be going door to door and having your neighbors narc you off and paying your neighbors rewards to tell if you had more people than you were supposed to during the lockdowns? Did you think they would shut down your businesses, that they would arrest you, that they would break into your business and handcuff you and take you to jail? Did you think that they would penalize you hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines by being open during COVID? Did you think they would lock us down and have us literally go bankrupt and bleed our savings account dry? I don't think anyone thought that, but that's what happened. See, the difference between what you guys don't understand is the military controls the information. And if they tell their military servicemen and women and they build up the propaganda like they have been, do you think they're not getting briefed on civil unrest? Do you think there's units in the military that their specific job isn't to quash civil unrest? They are. Mike knows what I'm. Ask Blankman. He's military. He'll tell you. There are plenty of people who would turn against their own citizens. There's people out there who believe that Trump is an existential threat. There's units in the military who have commanders who have told their people that Trump's an existential threat. Do you really think that those people wouldn't turn against? There were people in the Union who turned against their own brothers, their own uncles, their grandparents, their fathers. Murdered their own brothers with hate in their heart. Are you kidding me? What makes you think we're so far removed from that? Let me ask you a question. Do you think Texas would have any problem going toe-to-toe with people in California? Do you think California people would have a problem going toe-to-toe with people in Texas? They hate each other. They're diametrically opposed in all their viewpoints. Texas thinks that California is one of the reasons why the United States is failing, and people in California think that Texas is. What if you have military units that are told that people in California are rebelling and trying to overthrow the government and use their economy to sell out to China or sell out to a third party or sell the country to whatever? And who knows what story they tell? What if it's Georgia? What if it's Florida and they say Florida is Trump? And he is going to revolt against the United States and as a separatist movement take the South and separate from the United States. And he's going to have an active military. And if we don't stop him, he's going to attack Americans. What are you going to do? What if you're a soldier? What if you're a Marine? What if you're an airman? What do you do? Do you revolt and get thrown in jail? Or are your convictions towards the U.S. government and defending the Constitution of the United States, which you think is in jeopardy because that's what your leaders tell you? Do you believe this is far-fetched? I don't. See, what's funny is that you guys for 4 years have said to me, hey, Matt, I don't think you see the forest through the trees. I don't think you're really seeing the big picture. Oh, no, I fucking see the big picture. I just choose not to live in hypotheticals. But if you're not paying attention to what has been happening, I don't know what to tell you. Do I believe that Kamala Harris is going, and Joe Biden will not, if Donald Trump wins, the first thing I think you do is I think you have Joe Biden call for a stay of moving forward with the electoral process. I think that he is going to have a letter signed by Republicans and Democrats alike calling for the decertification or the no certification of this election. That Donald Trump is an existential threat, that the constitutional lawyers need to review his eligibility for office. I think what you see is that these cases will be pushed through. Sentencing will be as heavy as possible, probably putting him and bringing him to jail. And then they can say, well, the president of the United States is in jail. He's a felon. He's got more court cases. He can't serve. He has to answer for and atone for his sins. He has to be held accountable for his criminal ways. And then you invoke the 25th Amendment, you have him removed. And this is what you do. And are you ready? Because this is the truth. And you know it's the truth. They go to people like Lindsey Graham. They go to the rhinos. They go to the Uniparty and they say, we'll give you the presidency. We'll even certify all the House and Senate results. You guys have the presidency for 4 years and 8 if you want, but we're not allowing you to put Trump in. Sign the letter. Give us the 2/3 majority. We'll decertify this election. You can put in a Republican you want, like J.D. Vance or anyone else. You put in Nikki Haley, you put in DeSantis, whatever you want to do. You can put in Speaker Johnson. But you need to put in an institutionalized man or woman, and we'll certify them. But we're not allowing you to put Donald Trump in. That's it. then why would they let him run to begin? Think about that. How are they going to stop that process? They've done everything they could, Kevin, to stop him. Do you really believe that Donald Trump, with a career, a multi-billionaire in New York with hundreds of thousands of deals all over the world, decided to be a criminal once he became president? Is that what you believe? Okay, well then you know for a fact, and I know for a fact, that it's bullshit. Yes, it's blackmail. Do you really think that they don't trade ponies in Washington for bills? Do you think that people don't flip their votes simply because they get a sweet offer? That they don't get a $500 a plate fundraiser? That they don't get a contract or a base put into their district? Come on. That's all it is trading ponies. That's what politics is. It's not blackmail. It's good business. They tried to impeach him the third time after he was out of office, Kev. Do you really think that they haven't done everything they can? They've had people accuse him of rape. They've went ahead and tried to bankrupt him. They went ahead and sent a freaking FBI team into his house. They served felony warrants. They've persecuted him in New York. They wanted to seize his businesses, seize his towers. They've maligned his family with Russia. They've called him a Nazi. They've called him 2 assassination attempts. They've tried to bankrupt him. What? Of course they've tried to stop him. But what do you think they're going to do? You think they're just going to assassinate him? That might be a possibility. She goes, I think that's why they postponed sentencing till after the election. Sure. Why would you play your ace in the hole when he hasn't been elected yet? Let's see what happens. And if he's elected, then you do sentencing. You throw him in prison. And then you say, listen, he can't be president of the United States. He's a felon. He's in prison. Folks, do you really think that they did him a favor by not sentencing him? Why would they do that? Why? Why wouldn't they sentence him? Wouldn't that be great campaign fodder? Well, because it would garner him support. But once, if he wins and then they throw him in jail, well, then you've got the story of, well, we can't. I mean, we really feel bad about this, but we have to do what's right for America. They're going to play that card. Of course we want Donald Trump to be the president. Of course, but he can't be because he's a felon. He's in jail. He's been sentenced. We have to allow the justice system to prevail. They will have to come up with a different candidate. How is this? Yes, Trump knows this. Of course Trump knows this. Of course Trump knows this. Folks, do you really believe that Democrats haven't done this before? Do you remember 2000? Do you remember 2016? Oh boy. I failed you. I have failed. I am sorry. I have failed you. If there's questions on this, then I haven't done a good enough job. And I'm not being facetious. I truly mean that. If you don't know what they've done, then I haven't done a good enough job showing you. See if I can find this. See, they don't want this out there because this 2016 Democrats don't want to certify election. Biden gavels them down. I can't believe you guys don't remember this. See if I can find this here.
Homes.com is a new elevated home shopping experience.
This isn't going to be the good one, but I've got the full video. What is up, my Phoenix people?
Not Phoenix.
Not Phoenix. Is it 406? Oh,
406 is Montana.
Yeah, it's 460 is Phoenix. I apologize. I saw it. What's going on, Montana? Who am I talking to?
Paul.
What's going on, man? What do you want to talk? Been a while. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Try to get on every night. Interesting situation we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to get your viewpoint on a few things. As far as local law enforcement enacting military, which would, I'm assuming, go to local National Guard, correct?
No. No, it wouldn't be National Guard because the governor can already invoke the National Guard for defense. This actually allows local law enforcement to request lethal force from the federal government military and National Guard.
So from like active Marines and Army.
Correct.
Eesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you read did you watch my show on Friday by chance?
I did not. I have to go back and check it out.
It's one you want to watch. It's one you want to watch.
Yes, indeed. I am very interested in seeing what this document has to say. I had some other obligations on Friday, so I missed the show.
Yeah, no problem. Of course. It's okay.
So another question.
Yeah.
As far as states go, these states are certify and these states don't certify. Do you foresee these state governors enacting their National Guard to stand their state ground? As far as, I mean, when you go federal government, now we're talking F-15s and, tanks and stuff.
Sure.
But
here's what I'll tell you is that if there was a movement to not certify, you don't need the states to do so. The senators, the state legislature could enact a movement to declare Donald Trump unfit under the 25th Amendment, that he is not eligible to be the president of the United States based upon the legality of his crimes. That would then move to immediately the Supreme Court to make a judgment on it. And what you would see is one of two things: the Supreme Court making a judgment that he is eligible, which I don't think they would do because they don't have the precedent and they don't have it's an ambiguous piece, right? But if a felon can't vote and a felon can't own a firearm, a felon shouldn't be able to be president, and that would be the argument. But that would go back to state law versus federal law as where the precedent would lie, because this is a state issue to decide not to certify with the electors. So you would see the Supreme Court kick it back to the House, and then ultimately we go back to the states. Then the governors would specifically get involved through legislation of the state to pass some sort of piece of legislation on the fly that would say that the state electors cannot declare a person president based upon if they have a felony, if they're a citizen, if they're American born, if they're over the age of blah, 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 and if they have a felony or pending, court dates or whatever it is, and institute that as an exception. Then at that point, the state's constitution would be amended with a 2/3 vote. Excuse that. Yes, 2/3 vote. And then they could challenge the certification process. That's a possibility. And it doesn't matter what crime, it just matters if it's a felony. That's why they
Right.
want the sentencing. They want.
and that's the only and that's the only title they wanted to give him.
That's right. That's right.
Didn't matter what they got him on. They just wanted that title.
That's correct. They just wanted him charged with a felony. That's it. And they don't care what type of. That's why they threw everything at him. That's why they threw out the bathwater. They had multiple people. This was a retroactive abortion, so to speak. So they laid the groundwork to abort his presidency in case he won in 2024, so they could do this. That's what this has all been about. And that's why they postponed sentencing. That's why they've done the dog and pony show. And they thought it was going to have enough of an impact to just oust him out of the primary and put Nikki Haley or DeSantis or another candidate ahead. And it didn't happen. And then they're like, oh, shit.
It didn't work. Yeah,
it didn't work. So now they're in a situation where they're like, okay, well, we've got these pending cases. What do we do? Well, let's just delay the sentencing so we don't garner him any support because we don't want it to backfire even more. And if he wins, bam, we hit him with his sentencing and then we go ahead and move the 25th Amendment forward. Well, they would use the 14th Amendment and then ultimately move for 25th Amendment to find him incapable of holding office.
I don't see this going well. And you've talked about it on your show before. This is going to go bad no matter who wins. That's
correct. This is what I've tried to tell people, but what I just want people focusing on smaller things, right? I don't like to stir things up when there's no reason to yet, because I see the forest of the trees, Leeroy sees the forest of the trees, but we don't necessarily tell people, hey, this is going to happen, because there's no point until the signs are that it will or could. And now we're at a place where he has a very clear path to victory, and plan B is happening. They're already talking about sexism. They're already talking about racism against Kamala. They're already talking about election interference, bringing in Russia. They are setting the groundwork to do what they did in 2016 and 2000 with a hanging Chad in Florida. They are going to legally challenge every single vote that's within 1 million votes. They will legally challenge every vote that's within 1 million. I promise you. They will hold this up as long as possible.
And then what does our country do in the meantime? I mean, this is dumb.
Implodes. Well, this is where you have the only solution. Now, if you decide to move forward with this will be done quietly. It'll start with lawyers. Lawyers will challenge the state's results. There'll be recounts. They will, if it's close, they will try to go ahead and hold it up into court. They will lean on the popular vote. They will do all those type of things. And they will go through basically from November 6th till December 12th or so. They will begin the process and conclude the process of legally challenging the election results. And at some point, the states will concede, and those challenges will have to concede that Trump won. Then at that point, you will more than likely see the sentencing of Donald Trump in the New York case. They will tell that judge to remove all restraint, to give him the maximum penalty possible for optics, sentence him to some sort of prison sentence, whatever that would be, 90 days or deferred or whatever it would be, and get those optics on the table. Then you will see Raskin and you'll see the House move to not impeach, because that's not what's going to happen because he hasn't taken office. They will move to Article 14 the 14th Amendment, and establish that he's ineligible to vote based on insurrection. They won't win that. Then they'll go to the 25th and say because he's a felon, he is unsuitable. They will have to decertify any movement to make him president of the United States. That's when you'll see the back and forth between the Uniparty, Republicans and Democrats trying to trade ponies, possibly go ahead and hang a carrot in front of them to put not Mike Pence, but J.D. Vance as vice president if they remove Donald Trump. Then you will see, obviously, at that point, once that takes place and you start to see past them challenging the results of the election, you're going to have to see Joe Biden institute a stasis on the election, essentially a suspension of moving forward. And you will see that you'll see the inauguration and the swearing process of 2020. You'll see the votes have to actually be initiated on January 6th. You will see that they will have to certify on January 12th. Those processes will stop, and they will stop certifying the election. And at that point, if he does that, America will be very aware of what the intent of the federal government is to not release power to Donald Trump, to not have peaceful transfer of power. And you will see martial law be instituted. And this is where the DOD document that I showed you on Friday kicks in, where local law enforcement will be responsible to stop and quash all uprisings at the city, state, and local government, and will use military force outside the National Guard to reinforce these areas that could be completely out of control, and the local and state government would ultimately lose control of the state. And the federal government's not going to allow that. Does that make sense?
It does, but didn't they in summer of 2020?
Didn't who?
Didn't the federal government lose control of certain states?
And that will never happen again. And that's the whole reason for this is January 6th can never happen again in the United States. They can never have anything like they will never allow anything like that to happen again. It is kind of like the 9/11. It was an embarrassment to our government. It lowered our standing in the world. It made us just like everyone else. Like we were the shining, example of government on the hill. Our people don't revolt. They don't, we have peaceful transfer of power. It was a mark of shame on our government. And it's why I absolutely thought the J6 was so abhorrent, is because it damaged us from a world standing, but also just defaced our overall processes. Right or wrong, that's the way it is. They will never allow that to happen again. And they have put things in place to ensure that they have the full force and military might to execute and quash any rebellion or any resistance to whatever the government says at the state, city, and local government.
And that's fucking scary.
Yeah, and Karen says, if Trump knew this, why would he put the country through this? What? By running for president?
Right.
Karen, it doesn't matter who runs. They don't want Trump. That's what, and the reason why they don't want Trump is it's pretty simple. This is the easiest thing in the world. He can't be bought. He's a loose cannon. He does not follow. He is unbribable. They have threatened him. They've cajoled. They've tried to take away his freedom. He doesn't give a shit. This guy is just absolutely stubborn to a point of he got shot at and he got up. He was hit and he got up and fight. I mean, this guy he doesn't react. Even Democrats are like, you know what? I don't like Donald Trump, but that took some balls. He's different. He's a multi-billionaire. He's achieved everything he wants in life. He's fucked the hottest women. He's got great looking kids. He's got a hot looking wife. He's got everything he wants. Now, what does he want? He wants this. Good for him. But they don't want to let him have it. They consider him to be a danger to the status quo. He ignites the people, not around the United States, not around the federal government, but around him. That scares the shit out of them. That is a lot of power. Do you think Obama could have called out to his supporters and said, I want every one of you to rise up against your state? Do you think if Obama said that people would do it? I don't think so. I think you would have some pockets of resistance. Right. If Joe Biden said that, they'd tell him to fuck off. But if Donald Trump says, hey, that election was stolen, and they listen to him. And they're willing to do whatever they can. So that's a dangerous amount of power. Now, do I believe that Donald Trump will use that nefarious? No, not at all. In fact, I don't think he would do that. But if he wins this election and they don't certify him, Donald Trump's not going to have to say anything. I believe that will be the crux. That will be the linchpin. That'll be the thing that pulls the pin from the grenade, that it doesn't go back in.
Right. And you know, I'm not a huge fan of him personally. Policy wise and where we were during his administration, I was good with. He, like you said many times, he should have shut his mouth.
Sure.
On several occasions. You know, I don't own a single Trump shirt, flag, hat. I don't own a single piece of Trump swag. But the way they're going about this is just, I think it's, if they go this route to where he wins and they start taking all this legal action and they go constitutional and do all this stuff, I think the right is going to lose their mind.
Yeah, I'm going to lose my mind.
Even me. It's, you know, and like I said, I'm not a big fan. I can't wait till this guy goes away and we can just stop hearing about Trump. But for right now, this is where we're at.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. I don't want him to go away. I want him to continue to drive them fucking crazy. I want him to continue to expose their hypocrisy because he is the kryptonite to liberals. I want him to create this. We need this. And the reason why we need this is because there are trillions of dollars exchanging hands that are unaccounted for. There is rampant crime. They are buying America out from underneath us. This is what wiped out Greece. This is what wiped out the Romans. I want Donald Trump to continue. And I hate to say it. Listen, I've been very critical of Donald Trump. I think that there are times that he just shoots himself in the foot, and he would be a very strong, his polling numbers were crazy. COVID, 71% of the United States agreed with the way he was handling COVID in the first 3 months. I don't know if you remember that, but they just destroyed it. They took it. So he says things that are stupid, but listen to this. This isn't just Donald Trump. This is the problem. Listen to this real quick.
Nothing in the Constitution condoned what the president said yesterday. The president is completely outside the bounds of our Constitution. And on behalf of my diverse.
Here's Sheila Jackson Lee, who is challenging the election under 2000
constituents and the millions of Americans who have been disenfranchised by Florida's inaccurate vote count, along with my House colleagues, Mr. President.
Is the objection signed by a senator?
Mr. President, I do not have a senator who has signed this objection.
So that's Sheila Jackson Lee. There's also about 75 others who did the same thing. Here's another one. This is 2016. Go figure that it's Sheila Jackson Lee.
I object.
Under Section 15,
Mr. President, I
17,
object on the massive voter suppression.
Debate is not in order.
Counting
Debate is not in order.
Ballots that were provisional that denied individuals access to polling places.
Gentlewoman will suspend.
That was one of like 40 where they stood up in 2016 and refused to certify the election and asked Joe Biden, who struck each one down just like Al Gore. This is what they do. Somebody just says, stop being babies. I have no idea who you're talking to. If you're talking to me, please clarify. I'm not being a baby. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I'm giving you facts. So maybe you're talking to somebody else. I don't have a problem with Donald Trump. Like I said, he says things sometimes that frustrate me, but he has every right to run for president. He has every right to win if he does. He has absolutely every constitutional right to be certified. And if they don't, it is absolutely a crime. It is sedition. It is treasonous. And everything that they've said over the last 16 years since the hanging Chad in 2000 and 2016 election will be exposed, and Democrats will have to answer. And they will have to eat a lot of crow, a ton of crow. So there's just a simple. There's a couple of videos.
Everything in their power not to.
They did it in 2016. Why wouldn't they do it? They did it in 2000. Why wouldn't they do it again? Why wouldn't they call every single celebrity put out videos in 2020 and 2016, and state legislatures and senators endorse this and ask for the state electors? Listen, Don't not vote for Donald Trump. Or we're not asking you to vote for Hillary Clinton. We're just asking you not to certify Donald Trump. That's not election interference? Of course it is.
Most certainly is.
So of course it is.
Most certainly is.
Democrats, it's like Democrats saying that they didn't install any Supreme Court justices. They were just victimized with Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh. They don't know why the Republicans did this. I do, because it started with Ronald Reagan as federal court justices. Rodriguez and other Hispanic judges were struck down by Joe Biden because they were Mexican. And they continued every Supreme Court nominee, including Clarence Thomas, including Gorsuch. We can go on where they stonewalled and refused to certify and vote and did everything they could not to approve these justices. They dragged them through the mud. They said that they were philanderers. They said that they were sexually inappropriate with women. They did whatever they could. And finally, when it came to Coney Barrett and it came to Kavanaugh, they said, fuck this. We're done. We're playing your game. We're not going to go ahead and vote Merrick Garland in to be a Supreme Court justice. We're going to hold on to it. And Democrats, what did they say? You don't want to do this. We will go thermonuclear. We will burn this down. Don't you dare. Well, they did. And what did they do? They went after Amy Coney Barrett. They went after Kavanaugh. They made up trumped up charges. They went ahead and impeached Trump twice. This is what the Democrats do. They're fucking babies. And when you play their game, they go ahead and raise it to a notch that is impossible to match. Just the way it is. But anybody who thinks that Republicans are, the root of all evil, I'll tell you, Republicans they've done their own shit. But most of the stuff that they do is reactionary to Democrats, including civil rights. 13 states voted against it were from the South. Republicans are the ones that pushed civil rights through. Without their vote, it wouldn't have went through because Democrats rose up against it. Now, most Democrats voted for it, but they didn't have the votes. Republicans saved the day on that. You don't hear that. You don't hear any, hey, Republicans were just as important with civil rights. You hear that they were the KKK and didn't want to give blacks rights. That's bullshit. It has nothing. It's absolutely not true. Republicans were unanimous on civil rights. But nobody looks that up.
Well, and what party did Lincoln belong to when he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation?
Yeah, he's a Republican. I know. Dude, I've listen, I know you don't have a Trump shirt. I know you don't have a Trump hat. You don't need to have a Trump shirt. You don't need to have a Trump hat. I don't wear any Trump merchandise outside.
I don't.
I have his flag and I have his sign outside. And I do that to show my support, but I'm not afraid. And to be honest, I don't have Trump signs and a Trump flag because it's necessarily some sort of sign that I'm MAGA. It's that I'm not afraid to vote for whoever I want. And anybody who wants to challenge that, just knock on my door.
Well, and that's my other thing is this whole MAGA thing.
Yeah.
They've put such a, what's the word I'm looking for? A stigma on MAGA that even if you're not MAGA, but you still support Trump, is there a difference? I mean, if you support Trump, are you automatically MAGA? With the stigma that they put on it.
But why are you okay? Well, let me ask you a question. Do you fly the American flag?
Yes, sir.
You
I
put.
am.
Hold on.
I am an Army veteran.
I know. So let me. But you fly that flag, even though they put a stigma on it that it's racist, and the American flag doesn't represent all people, and it's a racist flag that's an oppression of African Americans. Yet you fly it. They put a stigma on that. Why do you fly the American flag?
Because that's the flag of my country. Those are my colors.
And most importantly, what? That's fine, but they've put a stigma on it that flag is racist and that flag has oppressed black people. Is that true?
For a certain time.
No, bullshit. In no way, shape, or form does that flag represent racism and represent the stigma that they place on it, that it needs to be admonished, it needs to be burned, it needs to be destroyed because it doesn't represent it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So,
and like you said, we've come a long way. We did some fucked up shit back in the day.
Of course we did. But that doesn't, that the flag doesn't demonstrate any of those things because it doesn't say that. The colors stand for purity and justice, and honor. It stands for the 50 states in the field of blue. It does not, from sea to shining sea, it does not represent any of those things. So what they're saying is a lie, right? So you fly it even in the face of their stigma, correct? Is that fair?
I guess.
Okay, great. Then why would you give a fuck about flying a MAGA flag? Because that's the same thing. MAGA doesn't mean racist. MAGA doesn't mean anything. Bill Clinton said, "Make America great again." Ronald Reagan said, "Make America great again." Do you believe either one of those people are fascists?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just trying to help you understand is that they say a lot of things that aren't true. They say we should hate the police. They say that our children should be sexually mutilated to become a different sex. They say a lot of things. They say we should abort babies up to 9 months. They believe a lot of shit, but you know what? I don't listen to them, and I certainly am not going to allow them to define the American flag or MAGA, because MAGA means Make America Great Again, and there is absolutely a very noble ambition that we need to bring the success, the innovation, the achievement, the camaraderie, the patriotism that we had in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and leave the racist, homophobic, and other bullshit behind. But that doesn't mean revert back to a time where women were oppressed or African Americans. That's not what Make America Great Again. It means that we were an amazing country at one point and did amazing things. We need to find that spirit again and leave all the other bullshit that was hanging around our necks behind. Because that's what it is. We're a country of progress.
And that's the thing you always get is, oh, Make America Great Again. Okay, which year do you want to go back to? When slavery was there, or when, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you serious?
Well, I'll answer that question.
Let's start manufacturing cars again.
There you go.
Let's start.
Right.
You know, Pittsburgh, steel. The reason their football team is the Steelers. They don't do that anymore. Detroit doesn't make cars anymore, or very few cars. I mean, I know there's some there, but not in the capacity that we were.
Well, they don't do that because it's cheaper to buy foreign, but that's not the point. The thing is this, man, and with 120% respect, MAGA isn't a time period. MAGA is an idea that at one point we were the greatest country in the world. Our education system is failing. From a geopolitical point, we're failing. From an innovation standpoint, we're failing. From construction and infrastructure, we're failing. From a monetary system and an economic stalwart, we're failing. From a military, we're failing. From a country that believes in borders and defense, we're failing. Make America Great Again isn't a time period. Make America Great Again is a goal. It's a goal.
And
it's like,
and
go ahead.
And that's what I think Trump would do, is bring all this stuff back that we used to do. Great.
I don't know if Trump can bring it all back, but what he can do is stop making excuses of why we can't. That's the difference between Donald Trump. He believes we can do these things. I don't know if he's the man to do it. And I think what's great about him, like Elon Musk, is he knows what he's capable of doing. And when he isn't capable, he finds someone who is. And he's failed at that, and he's succeeded at that. Do I think Donald Trump is the person who's going to solve all Americans' problems? No. But I think he is the one person who can get us to believe that any problem can be solved with American ingenuity, creativity, and innovation. And that's what Ronald Reagan did. Ronald Reagan gave us a belief in ourselves.
At least get it rolling, you know?
Right.
He's got 4 years. If he wins, he's got 4 years. With the Democrats, you know, fighting everything that he wants to do, like they did in his last administration. They blocked everything he did. But at least get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
He's not going to solve all the problems in 4 years.
No.
But at least get the ball rolling.
That's MAGA, to answer your question. That's what it is.
Right.
It's not what they say. And I know what you're saying.
No, and
you
and
don't
I,
need to,
I realize that.
okay. But they are going to say that MAGA is what they're saying he's Hitler. Do you believe that?
No, not at all.
Of course not. Well, then if he's not,
Not at
okay,
all.
then this is the premise. Matt, thank you for the donation. Then that's the premise of the show, brother, is that if they're lying about one thing, what else are they lying about? And if they're lying that he's not Adolf Hitler, and they're lying that he's not going to subvert our democracy, and they're lying that he is going to be a fascist and a dictator on day one, we know that's not what he said. He said, I'll be a dictator for day one, according to them, because I'm going to redline all these executive orders for one day. That's what he was saying. But of course, this is what they do. They just lie.
Right. Yep.
Well, then if they're lying about that.
And it's the same thing with, Trump's telling you to freaking drink bleach and take horse dewormer.
Right.
No, that's not what he said.
It sounds like you're MAGA, bud. Sounds like you're MAGA to me.
And yeah, I mean, I am.
I understand what you're saying.
I support what he's doing, and where he can take this country.
Yeah,
because she is.
She's horrible. She's horrible. Listen, you're a veteran. I will never swear fealty to a man. I don't care about Donald Trump personally. I don't know him. How can I care about him? How can I care about him personally? Now, do I want to see him hurt? No. Do I want to see him succeed? Yes. But on November 6th, if he doesn't get in, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the same fucking thing I did on November 5th. And the same thing I'm going to do on November 7th. I'm going to get up and I'm going to report the news. I'm going to try to give you the truth and I'm going to be unbiased. And if Donald Trump's in, I'm going to report the news. I'm going to give you the truth and I'm going to be unbiased. My day will not change. Will it be nice to have Trump in office? Yeah, because I want to be hard on Republicans a little bit. I've been hard on Democrats now for 4 years. I want to come after Republicans because they're just as bad. They really are in their own way. So I want to go after.
And that's why I love your show, Matt, is because once I got a hold of you and you were going after Trump and Republicans are doing this stupid shit and Democrats are doing it. I like the way that you are unbiased. I mean, obviously you lean right, but
yeah, I do. I very much do.
Republicans are being dumbasses right now.
Sure they are. They haven't done anything.
And
They've had the House. They've had the House.
You've done that several times over the years.
2 years they've had the House and they've done absolute shit. They've done nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. They couldn't even decide on a speaker, for God's sakes. They've done nothing. The Freedom
and then
Caucus.
They got one.
Yep. Go ahead.
And they kicked him out.
Right. And then Mike Johnson, Kevin McCarthy was a lot of things. Oh, he's a rhino. You know what? I am so sick of the term rhino because it is so overused. Okay. And rhino does not dictate quality of work. Right? You can look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and hold on a second. What's up?
What I got from the Navy.
Oh, you talked to a Navy recruiter?
So basically, every 2 weeks at Woodgrove.
Oh, damn.
There's a military branch that comes to your school and they're like recruits and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, Navy, I gotta go talk to them because you obviously.
Yeah.
And it's if you can do like sit-ups, push-ups, trivia, or like a deadlift.
Yeah.
If you can do all four, I
yeah.
think it's 4, you get something.
Get a prize.
I did all 4, and you had to do 10 of each, and I did all 4. And for trivia, I think they asked me what were the colors and what was the birthday.
What were the colors?
Navy blue and gold, and birthday is October 13th, 1775.
I didn't even know that.
But I thought
you taught her well.
But I thought the question was going to be when was the last time they won the football game.
Okay, get the fuck out. You're such a little shit. My son's like, I thought the question was going to be when's the last time they beat the Army in a football game. Get out. That's awesome. My daughter, she did deadlifts and then answered when the Navy was created, 1770. And we've worked on all this stuff, and she answered all the questions right, and she got a bottle. Here's a question. Anyone who's mad that anyone has said I cuss in front of my kids. I've cussed in front of them, and they are the most well-behaved children in the world. So I don't treat my...
I cuss in front of my kids, and I always get compliments on their behavior and their politeness and their manners.
Yep. Jaze has a question, Paul, and then I'm going to let you go. Matt, everyone used to look at
All right.
America, land of the free, MAGA, but now you get to know the Democrats, what filthy, dirty people they have become, those who run the country. Pelosi, a big effing mess it has become. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not proud of our politicians, and I haven't been since they took Kennedy. I don't hate Democrats. Liberals, we are classical liberals. Classic liberalism is what the Republican Party was founded on. The anti-federalists and the federalists only disagreed on one small thing, the size of government. That's it. We're all classically liberal. We believe that America is better off together than apart. That's classic liberalism. That all boats rise at high tide. That if you take care of your fellow man, they will take care of the country. That is classic liberalism. This is not that.
United we stand, divided we fall.
That's correct. That is what we were founded. And for everyone who says, oh, well, welfare and government subsidies and Social Security and food stamps, folks, Republicans created that. Republicans started this 1920 to 1946. Go look at the Republican Party platform. It screams like liberals. And we learned our lesson that handing out handouts and trying to create an equity-based system of government is impossible. So we abandoned it. And that's when conservatism was truly born. And we moved from the anti-federalist standpoint, and we realized that there were 5 key differences between us and them. And the first one truly was big government. The second one was taxation. And then overall global populism and isolationism in defense of our country. And Christian beliefs and Christian faith and family values. These are the things that we ultimately decided were the keys to success for conservatives. And we are still classically liberal in a lot of ways. And there are plenty of blue dog Democrats. There are plenty of classic liberals. The leftist movement is just like the alt-right. It's not as large as you think. It gets the airtime because they are the most nefarious.
They're the loudest.
Yeah, they're the squeaky wheel. And so they're going to get the grease. So we've got to slow down. America is not so far removed from where we were that the largest portion of the population is going to base this on what they know, not what they feel. And what they know is we are poorer, it is more dangerous, and we are closer to a world war than ever before. And that usually creates change in the government, a massive change. You usually see a mandate given to the opposing party where we would get the House, we would get the Senate, and Donald Trump. I think we need to just let's see what happens. Now, if we get the House and we get the Senate, do you guys understand the conflict that could take place? You could see that in order for the Democrats to execute what they want to hold Trump from taking office, they would not only have to usurp the presidency, but they would have to negate the incoming freshman into the Senate and the House. And they would have to decertify the entire election. If America votes for the House and the Senate and Trump, and to have a bicameral Congress, and we have a fully controlled Republican Congress, and the presidency, and the SCOTUS, they're going to have to decertify all of it.
Do you know what they're going to say?
Sure, give it to me.
Oh, look at them. They're being dictators. They have power over everything. They're being dictators.
No, what they're going to say is, holy shit, we lost. Let's take our football and go home. That's at that point.
I hope so.
It's not a hope. It's not a hope. They're not going to decertify state elections because then every single state will rise up. That's too big. If they can keep it a myopic focus on Donald Trump, it's very, very possible that they can go ahead and decertify the election and fight it and resist it in courts and then by the Constitution if they really want to take it to that way. But if they lose the House and the Senate and it's a mandate from the people, the Democrats are going to tuck tail and run. And honestly, they're going to sit back and pray for this, that they have given a pile of shit to Republicans in a hornet's nest of geopolitics and energy in the border, in the fiscal cliff that's coming. All of these things that Republicans, and they're going to be like, you know what, we're good. Let them handle it. Give them the 4 years. We'll take it in 2028 because they're going to fail miserably. That's what they think. So my prediction is hopefully this: Donald Trump wins. They give him a mandate, and we take over the House and Senate, and then we're going to have to get to work. Worst case scenario, Donald Trump wins. We don't get the House and Senate, and they move towards articles to decertify and remove him from office based upon the 25th Amendment. Middle case scenario is that they go through legal process through most of November, most of December, and finally have to bite the bullet at the last minute, and cities burn and people revolt, and you see January 6.2, but this time it's predominantly the inner cities and what would be considered prototypical Democrats. That's more than likely what's going to happen.
And that's kind of what I see. I don't see another J6. Like you said, they're not going to let that happen again.
Right.
But I see it more in the inner cities and certain states that don't agree with the election results, and chaos ensues.
Correct. And we've already seen it in 2016. We've seen it during Rodney King. We saw it during George Floyd. We saw it during the Summer of Love. People forget that the first few months of Donald Trump's presidency, cities were burning all over the place, and it had nothing to do with a black person being shot. They were revolting against Donald Trump getting office. Somebody just said, if they decertify, does that go all down ballot of votes? No, that's why they won't. See, if he gets the House and he gets the Senate and he gets the presidency, they would have to I can't see you. You have to put yourself in the light. Hi. Kivaranta's got 2. He's going to go for the Hattie. I love all the secondary scoring. Can you tell McKinnon to show the fuck up, please? Call the abs. Yeah, call the. Yeah, oh, you slut. Did you hear what she said? She goes, I'll call him later tonight when he comes into my bedroom. Oh, dirty. Just.
Ooh, damn.
My wife. She's okay. She's joking. So am I. But they don't have the power to decertify state elections. And if the federal government got it, that is just anyone who tells you that they would decertify the House and the Senate, they don't know what they're talking about. The federal government can't decertify a state election. It just can't happen. Now they may contest certain elections that are very, very important to remove certain elections based that were really close to do a recount. Or to claim some sort of election interference or whatever in order to take control of the House or Senate on a deciding member that would decide that. Of course, they'll do that, but they can't decertify state elections. They are going to go after Trump in the 25th at the worst case scenario. That's what's going to happen. And I don't think it will be a peaceful transfer of power in any way, shape, or form. No. I would 99.9% sure if Donald Trump wins, it is going to be the most contested and toughest certification ever in U.S. history. All right.
Oh, but a danger to our democracy.
Yeah, that's why we don't have a democracy. Listen, I'm just being honest, man. Democrats have done all of this because that is 100% what they've demonstrated in the past. You know, J6 was an anomaly. I don't think Republicans ever do that again. I don't. But if they decertify and they try to hold him out of office, everything's on the table. I don't think Republicans are going to fucking take that again. I think they have to they're weighing their options. If they take Trump out, they're going to have a very serious problem with America. If they put Trump in, they're going to have a problem in inner city America, and you'll see riots. And I think they're weighing both. This is a conundrum. Our government has created this problem. They created this problem by shady and shitty politics, by lying to the American people on both sides, and they've created hate and dissension amongst the constituents, which is a recipe for disaster. That's it.
Yeah, like I said, and like you said, this is going to go bad.
Either way,
no matter who wins. Yep.
Correct.
It's just a matter of to what degree.
Congratulations to the media. Congratulations to the politicians. They have created this mess, and it's their fault. And hopefully, when America sees cities burning and seeing Americans hating on Americans, that they finally wake up and they push their ire towards the people who truly deserve it, politicians and the media. That is what I hope.
Yep. I mean, my oldest daughter, she is on the abortion thing. You know, she's 20 years old, just getting into politics. She has just over a 1-year-old son, and her thing is abortion.
Yep.
And she's voting for Kamala Harris.
But why?
And,
But
all
see,
right, sweetheart.
But why?
You know,
why? Is she planning on? Is she planning on having an abortion?
I've been trying to talk her I'm trying to talk her into coming on your show, her and I, and having a conversation. And she's like, "Wait, you want me to go on a show with somebody who likes Trump?"
It's not about. It's not about.
No,
I don't like. It's not about. Okay, I want to be clear. It's not that I like Trump. It's that I don't dislike Trump because it doesn't enter the equation. Liking somebody does not. I've had leaders who I hate. I've had leaders that I love, and neither of those made a difference. They still led like they were going to lead, no matter what my opinion was. So it doesn't matter whether I like him or not. The question is do I believe that he will take America forward and not hurt me in the process? That's the only thing I consider. So when she says, I don't like Trump, I think he's a jerk, and I think he's a misogynist, and I think I'm going to agree with her and say, great, those are all feelings you should have because you are having them. But that shouldn't change your decision because he's not going to sexually assault you. He's not going to take away your rights to abortion. He's not going to go ahead and castigate you into the Stepford wives because that's not his power. He doesn't have the capability to do those things. So anything that you think is nonsense compared to what reality is. Those are your fears. Fears aren't reality. Those are emotional decisions and feelings. You got to base it in reality.
Like I said, she's 20, so she's grown up on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and all that.
Sure, I
shit.
know. Have her call.
And I'm trying to talk her into it.
You shouldn't have to talk.
I would love to come on and have a conversation between us, and would really love to have Amy and Olivia and get the female perspective, you know, just to kind of get her out of that echo chamber of Orange Man bad.
You're not going to get her out of that echo chamber ever because you're not the person that needs to tell her this. It's herself. And that is probably one of the most, the thing that I struggle with more often than not is I get frustrated with people because their inner dialogue is the problem. It's not me. It's not Trump. It's not Kamala. It's it's them. And they talk to themselves. And I if there's one thing I wish I could help people with is how they can communicate with themselves better. It is a skill set that many people do not possess. Jordan Peterson is a master of it. And I'm learning every day how to communicate with myself better so I don't overreact, so I don't make snap judgments, so I remain to have an open mind. She needs to learn how to talk to herself.
Right.
So bring her on.
I've explained to her that, you know, this is not that show that, oh, you're wrong. It's, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
And okay, you have these points. Okay, well, here's my points. Can you think about them? You know, and I've tried to, because her mom is also on the same plane as that single issue voter. It's, oh my God, Trump is going to ban abortion. No, he doesn't have that power. It's back to the states. If you have a problem with abortion, then you need to take it up with the Montana legislature, which we're pretty middle of the road, you know, in Montana as far as abortion. But yeah, he doesn't have that power. Now look at this, the economy, the border, the geopolitical stuff that's going on right now over this administration. And what about that? And they're stuck on this abortion thing. And it's just like, it's frustrating.
Well, because it is the reason why they're stuck on the abortion thing is because it's the one thing they can call their own.
Right.
That's it. It's the one thing they don't share in common with men. It's the one issue that women can stand together on and say men have no right to say what we do or don't do, and we're not going to listen to them because they are not a part of this. They can't relate to us in this situation. They don't know what this is like. They have no say in this. And the problem is that there are too many men who are telling them what they should and should not do versus asking them the question of how does it make them feel. And I think if you asked every single woman the truth and they sat down and they were honest with themselves, do you feel good about having a child inside of you and then terminating that life? I think if every woman told you truly, even the most ardent abortion supporters, they would say, you know what? I don't like it. I felt it was necessary, but yes, it bothered me. Okay, then that's all you need to build on. Does it bother you enough to address the truth behind what's happening? And if it does, then we can have a common conversation. Because I can't relate to what it feels like to have a baby inside of me, but I can relate to what it's like posthumously from the pregnancy to have a child in my life who was conceived in a womb. And I know what that connection created for me. And that's the place I'm coming from. I need you to help me understand month 0 from 9 so I can explain to you why 9.1 and up to 86 is absolutely critical to me. If we can find a way to have that conversation, you will bridge that gap. But it's one of knowledge and understanding and experiential learning, which is killing us. We refuse to understand what it's like with that woman from 0 to 9.1 to 9, and they are not listening to us from 9.1 and beyond. And if we can find a way to do that, then we can have a real conversation. Nobody's having that conversation.
Right.
God, there's so many more important things than abortion. I mean, and when I say that 67 million babies is important, but what?
That's my thing with
hold on a second.
Family
we're getting an update from Olivia. Go ahead.
Mac, listen to me. We have a connection.
You and your boyfriend Max scored? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, you can thank him tonight. Get out. My point is my point about this whole thing is that I think somebody needs to tell your daughter, I respect your opinion and I respect your feelings and I respect your reasoning. Well, that's with me on the show. The first thing I would tell her is, I respect your opinion, your feelings, and your reasoning. I'm not going to play to those. I'm going to try to identify, is abortion right or is abortion wrong? And when we both can say it's both and that it's an individual's experience, then the United States government needs it to be an individual situation for the decision. This is why I've adamantly not supported full-term abortion, but I also don't speak out against abortion because it depends. And it always is going to depend in these situations. When you're taking, it always is. Like I've told people, my 14-year-old daughter, she's already said if something happened, if I was raped, if I would carry the child. And I said, honey, you don't know. And she goes, the hell I don't. I will never have an abortion. She's just born with that mentality. Never, ever, 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 ever. I'll never be a liberal because I don't believe in abortion. And I'm like, that's my kid who I have, Hayden, hold on. You'll understand. You'll hear her voice. And I've created open-minded children. But she's like, no, 100%.
Your children are awesome.
She is. Hold on a second. So it just comes down to this: is that this is once again, abortion is important. We don't want to have children. Please get hated. It's very important. So you gotta 4 times. You can't make this the only topic. You can't make this the only thing that's important, because it's not the only thing important to the United States. It can't be a solitary decision. There are no more single issue candidates.
That's what I've tried to explain to her, is that, okay, you can stand on that one. You can stand on that hill, but there's this, and this that are going to take our country in a way different direction, and our country is going to be shit, but I'm glad you still get to have an abortion.
Right. You could decide not to bring your child into it because you can just have them killed. I can't say anything else than it is an individual's own moral crux to take. I have a question for you. I know you're busy, but I'm talking to Paul from Montana, one of Olivia's acquaintances, and we were talking about abortion, and I said what your stance was on abortion, and I think some people are surprised with your convictions. Oh. And I think if you could state your conviction on what you believe, that would be cool. Would you be willing?
Yeah, sure. All right, pardon the looks.
I
just got back from
I love
Tech
the way
Week.
you do this, Matt.
But I don't believe in abortion. I think it's murder. Personally, for me, there's no exception no matter what happens to me. I will never get an abortion. Doesn't matter if my life's at risk. Doesn't matter if I was raped. Doesn't matter if I'm an 8-year-old girl who got raped. I know I'm not an 8-year-old girl anymore, but for me, I will never get an abortion no matter what. I do not think it should be used as a birth control in any way.
Definitely
I don't
not.
think you should have access
Definitely
to it
not.
unless you were raped, unless it was incest, or unless your life as a mother is in danger, because again, you're the mother and you're already living. If you took that thing out of you, it wouldn't survive. So I believe that the mother's life is more important than the child's, but that's just personal preference. For me, the child's more important. But those are the only 3 exceptions on why you should get an abortion. And for me, I would never get it no matter what happened.
Even if your life's at risk?
Even if my life's at risk.
Okay, thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Yep,
I respect your decision.
And you have to.
Do you doubt that 14-year-old girl in any way, shape, or form?
Not at all.
You can't.
I can hear the conviction in her voice.
Yeah, no one's going to convince her. She's like, I believe in a woman's right under 3 circumstances, but for me, none of those are okay. Even if she's even told me, she's like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do my best to have that child. And if I die, I die. I will not in any way, shape, or form condone abortion. That's just her belief. Good. And if my daughter and I can agree, then maybe your daughter and you can agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I need to go. I need to go watch the Colorado Avalanche finish this game. Paul, you need to call in more. I love our conversations. I love everything that we talked about. I think you are, somebody said it in chat and I agree with them. You are the silent majority. And I do believe that. I believe most people think like you. I think they're conflicting. I think they understand what Trump is and what he isn't, but even what he is at sometimes draws concern. But in the end, probably the right choice in 2 very tough choices that we shouldn't have to make. We should not have to make this decision. This decision should be much better, much easier, much smoother. And I, for one, am glad after this that Donald Trump will serve his 4 years with his country. I believe he'll do a great job, but I'm also glad that it will be over and we can move on and hopefully bring a semblance of calm to this process. But I don't think it's ever going to be like it again. I don't. I think we're done for. I don't think it's going to get better.
And we've come to this point to where I don't even know how many elections it's been, but we're picking from the lesser of two evils.
Oh, we've been doing that we've been doing that forever, though, bro. We've been doing that since Kennedy. You know, I mean, it's always.
Yeah.
How about this? How about we stop choosing the lesser of two evils and we just take evil out of the equation? And in order for evil to survive, it has to be in an environment that it can thrive in. So therefore, it may not be the person that's evil; it's the environment that's evil that creates evil people. Maybe we should look at this differently. Maybe we should stop looking at it as an autonomous thing and as a collective thing, that Washington, D.C. is corrupt, that the overall political process is corrupt, that the intention of all of them is evil because they are bred and they are habitual in an evil environment. And we need to change the parameters of the environment if we expect people to be good. You need to take money out of politics. You need to destroy Citizens United. You need to take all political action committees and ban them from Washington, D.C. They are allowed to solicit them in their home state, but Washington, D.C. is closed off. It is only there for tourists. All business leaves, and it 100% becomes an autonomous unit of government that is non-influenceable except for elections. That is the only way you fix it. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out unless you're a visitor. You do not meet in the office of a senator or a congressman. You are not allowed to throw fundraisers. You can campaign for this many months out of the year. You take the millions of dollars out of the election process and you make people stump and go out like they used to. We have internet. We have digital downloads. You don't need millions upon millions of dollars in advertisement. You ban all political ads on the TV. You make it a free space with no influence whatsoever. And you get us back to our roots. And I'm telling you, you have to kill the evil environment if you expect politicians to be anything but evil.
I agree. And I have this dream, this fantasy that the American people would step up and vote out every incumbent.
It won't happen.
Every single one.
But it won't happen. And Paul,
I realize that. I realize that it'll never happen. But
it could.
Ultimately, I would like to see, and I mean, even the good ones, just vote them out. All of them. Just empty it.
Yeah. The problem is you can't. Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm getting tired, Paul. So I'm gonna just wrap this up. You can't. See, that's a wish. It's not just infeasible, it's impossible because term limits do not align. You need to ensure that state legislatures, governors, and senators all serve the same terms. And you need to annualize them. So anybody as of this date, their term ends here. That means that there will be the 275th overall government, Congress, governors, state legislatures. And you put them in for 4 years at a time, and they are all voted out at the same time. And they're all voted in. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because there is a communal transfer of promises of corruption and hands being held out and promises being paid through debt and through dollars. And they don't want that because what they'll say is, well, you need to have old timers here to show the young guys how to get it done. No, that's the fucking problem, is the corruption. They come in with the most positive intent and they are overall by osmosis corrupted into evil because they cannot resist. And the good ones die and the bad ones thrive. I'm not trying to lecture you. I apologize. it's a long night.
No. And I appreciate it. Like I said, just a fantasy of mine.
I know.
Just a point that the American people could make that, no, we have this power.
Yeah. Well, we don't, though. That's the problem. We don't. We don't. We can't vote out everybody at the same time. That's the problem.
Well, no, not at the same time. Not at the same time.
Oh, well, then what's the point? Because you'll vote out half, then the other half will corrupt the new half like they're doing now. You need to change the laws of terms. They have to serve the same time, be voted in the same time, be removed at the same time, so you can make universal change. You could take 100 state legislature and vote them all out at the same time. That is what's needed. We don't have that power. That's been taken away from us. That's the problem. Election day should be election day for all of them. But it's not. So you've got the new freshman class that comes in, the old seniors go out, the new seniors corrupt the freshman class, and then we rinse and repeat. Do you see my point?
Yep, I certainly do.
We've got to have the states amend their constitutions and universally get the gubernatorial, the Senate, and the legislature all on the same serving schedule. If you do that, you can fix American politics. Until that day, it'll never be fixed. Ever.
Right. That's like I said, just a fantasy.
I know, but let's make your fantasy a reality. That's what I'm saying. We need people at the state and local government to set the example. We need legislation proposed. But you know what? They'll never do it because you're asking for the inmates to be the warden. They're not going to police themselves. They don't want restrictions. They don't want to be held accountable. These people, like all people, are in it for themselves. They don't want to be fired. They don't want to be replaced. So they're not going to vote into the best interest of what's good for the people. They're going to vote what's in the best interest of themselves. That's why they do this. Paul, we're not going to solve it tonight, but damn it, I really appreciate the phone call.
Well, I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, man, let's do it again. It was really fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm trying to get my 13-year-old daughter to say hi to you, but she doesn't want to.
That's okay. She doesn't have to. You know, she will. And you know what's great is that, man, there's so many. Said no. Well, tell her I said hello and tell her whenever she wants to have a great conversation. Paul, embrace your daughter, love your daughter, let her have her inequities. You've got your own and everything will be fine. But just remember, she's a child. Oh. If you tell her one way, she will go the other. All right, buddy.
She's a good kid.
Of course they are. They're all good kids. It's just sometimes we're not good along with them and we make mistakes. So they've got to suffer through our mistakes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go.
Matt.
All right, Bubba. Talk to you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching the Don't Unfriend Me shows. Good night tonight. Great conversation with Paul. I love Paul when he calls in. I love when everybody calls in. Thank you, Mel, for calling in. Thank you for your donations. I told you I'd give you some bonus time. I gave you an hour and 30 minutes of bonus time. I think that's more than enough. I'll be off Thursday, so I don't want to hear anything about being off on Thursday. Ethan, you plug it in too, bud. You don't just leave it there. I will not be here Thursday. My daughter's play, so consider that to be your Thursday show, that extra hour and a half. Thanks for watching the show. Thank you for being you. Thank you for supporting the Don't Unfriend Me show. Ethan, say goodnight to everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. God bless.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.